And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? Thank you guys for joining. I'm totally thrown off because I got my whole thing messed up. Hold on, let me start over again. Hold on. Let me start over. And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? Thank you guys for joining. You guys, and I still can't get it right. Hold on. I'm messing up my intro. I'm gonna try to start it, but you know, it got me distracted. The microphone was off on my streaming software, so my audio wasn't in. So then when I queued up in it, it was silent. I'm like, what's going on with my audio? So I had to fix the audio, mess my intro up. Let's try this one more time. And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? Thank you guys for joining. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internet. It's all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I'm not sure where to start. First of all, we got the whole Iran conflict still happening, of course. Hopefully that comes to an end pretty soon, but it is still going on right now. We'll talk about that a little bit more, a little bit later. Also, RIP to Chuck Norris, the immortal, the man, the myth, the legend. Rumor has it that Chuck Norris died 20 years ago, but the Grim Reaper was afraid to come to get him. And he said, you know what? Check it out, Grim Reaper. If you want to come get me, I want to be in Hawaii. I want to be surrounded by my family. I want to be in the beautiful environment. And you can't come get me until then. We'll talk about that a little bit more, a little bit later. Also, Zohran Mamdani is waging war on the middle class. But when he got elected, before he got elected, he said that he was going to be taxing the rich. Robin Hood. Tax the rich, give to the poor. Well, really, all you're going to do is make everybody poor. You're going to create greater class stratification. We'll talk about that a little bit more, a little bit later. Also, we got quite a few influencers in Cuba. What's going on with that? We'll talk about all those things and a whole lot more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. Immortal, not immoral. Don't be funny in the chat. Shout out to the comedians in the chat. Oh, he's immoral. You know what I meant. Shout out to you guys in the chat. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. We got a lot going on tonight. Shout out to you guys for rocking and rolling with me. Zohran Mamdani and his wife. That's a whole crazy situation. I mean, what in the world? Twitter post when you're 15 years old. That's crazy. We'll talk about that. Also, Iran talking about, hey, you know what? We don't really have any long-range missiles, but we were able to hit Diego Garcia, the military base, way out. What's that? In the Indian Ocean? Is that where that is? Hold on. Where is Diego Garcia? Diego Garcia base location. That is in the Indian Ocean. Yeah. It's like, so your missiles hit way beyond the range you said they could, which means you could get anywhere in Europe. You could get a lot of different places if you so chose. But what Iran did at first was just hit their neighboring Islamic countries. I want somebody to explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. Why would you hit a bunch of Islamic countries if you are an Islamic country if they're not the ones who hit you? Okay, you were hit by U.S. and Israel. So why are you hitting Azerbaijan? Why are you hitting Turkmenistan? Not Turkmenistan. You hit Azerbaijan. You hit Qatar. You hit UAE. You hit Saudi. Why are you hitting them? They're not the ones that did it. Now, you can say that they're aligned with Israel. Oh, okay. Well, is it about doing what's in the best interest of the Islamic people or what's in the best interest of the Iranian regime? It's two different things, because you could say, okay, we're doing this for the Islamic people. If that's the case, then you wouldn't be hitting Islamic countries. If you're doing it for the Iranian regime, well, that's a whole different story. It's no longer about religion. At this point, it's about your national sovereignty and things of this nature. Just say that rather than talking about Islam and all that kind of stuff. And then when the war is spoken about in general, it shouldn't be framed as a thing that is anti-Islam. Although you could say that. I mean, you could if you want to. Because although the majority of Islamic people are peaceful, there's going to be that non-peaceful faction that even other Islamics have an issue with. namely Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Azerbaijan, Turkey, Jordan, Lebanon, et cetera, so on and so forth. Didn't they like assassinate political leaders in Lebanon? Like how is the Iranian regime helpful to the Islamic cause anywhere in the world? How are they helpful to the people of Iran? How are they really helpful? The Iranians are suffering. Other Islamic nations are suffering. Who benefits? You want to close the Strait of Hormuz when it's not really yours to close. That's international water because you have other countries that are right there as well. You got Oman right there. So you're just going to shut that off and then you're going to block Oman. Like the Strait of Hormuz is shared between Iran, Oman, and it's international. It's not like the Panama Canal where it was a man-made thing that takes maintenance and upkeep to keep it open and operate it. It takes money to operate it. It's just a natural waterway, 55 kilometers. I think they said 55 kilometers at its narrowest point. So it's not the same thing as, let's say, Suez Canal, where one ship closed it. You're talking about a really big waterway that they don't have the right to close. So now we got a bunch of countries on board with opening the Strait of Hormuz, finally, because these nations really understand that if that strait is closed, you're talking about a global catastrophe because of how reliant we are on fossil fuel, quote unquote fossil fuel, natural gas, oil, etc. The whole world runs on that. So if that strait is closed, we got a problem globally, not just in USA, not just in Israel, but all over the whole planet. We got a problem if that particular part of the world is shut down. Then some say, well, that's because you guys had hit them. This ain't the first time that they have been aggressive in the Strait of Hormuz, speaking about Iran. This ain't the first time. Remember, they captured a U.S. vessel and had everybody with their hands up, and then they put them on camera talking about what's your name and rank, all that. And you know what? This has been the consistent thing. And people said, rather than going to this satellite puppet country of Iran, like Iraq, rather than going there and trying to, squabble with them, just go to the head of the snake. You're going to the satellites. You need to go straight to the people and be done with it. And if you're not going to do that, then leave it alone and just let it blow up on its own time. And if that happens, you're talking about nuclear warfare. So I think if this conflict that we're in can end swiftly without the use of nuclear weapons, it's a win. If it was to get to the point of nukes, now you're dealing with a whole crisis that's beyond high gas prices momentarily. It's beyond high bills for your natural gas or whatever. It's way beyond that. You're talking about global nuclear fallout, what they call mutually assured destruction, MAD. That's what it would be. So, hey, hopefully we get this done pretty quick, wrap it on up, put the bow on top, and keep moving. That's what I hope. So, shout out to you guys. All right. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. Hold on. Brickyard says Iran is doing in her moves what China does with South China Sea. Exactly. And this is why Taiwan is the issue. And China is aggressing themselves upon other nations in the South China Sea, Philippines, Vietnam, fishing in their territorial water, shooting at Philippine fishing boat, stuff like that. China does a lot of stuff all over this world that's really crazy. They talk about the United States. China, listen, a bunch of Chinese had to get deported from one African nation. I forget what it was. It might have been Ghana. And if I'm wrong, y'all correct me. But a bunch of Chinese had to get deported from an African nation, probably Ghana, because they were illegally mining materials, just straight up setting up mines in the area, stealing materials, and then leaving with it. Straight up stealing. I mean, worse than the Somali pirates. The Somali pirates, these guys just, they going out in the water on the rickety raft with sandals on, a loud walk barn, with a broken beer bottle type stuff. Okay, that's what they do. Or they go get its paperwork. They write stuff down. Okay, let me steal this amount of money. Let me get married to my sister to get citizenship. That's what they do. But the Chinese, hey, they're going to go straight to your water, steal your fish. They're going to steal your gold, your oil, whatever they got. They're going to, whatever they can steal from you, they're going to steal it. That's what they do. So, there's no innocent nations in this world. The Russians, obviously, same thing with the gulags. We all have our problems. But I think most of us would agree that it makes sense for the United States to be the big dog, at least over here in our hemisphere. Let them be over there. But I think if people had to choose, okay, who's going to be the administrative power to a certain extent, is going to be us. Because when a nation fails, like Cuba, and they got to go somewhere. They got to go east or west. You want them to stay west rather than going east, because the east will be right at our front doorstep. 90 miles from Florida. That's going to be a bad situation. We've already had that happen before. We don't want it to happen again. And shout out to the Cubans. Hopefully we can get in there and get things cracking the way they're supposed to be, because Cuba has been suffering for a long time. They're talking about sanctions this, sanctions that. Really, Cuba's been suffering for a long time. I mean, that's just the bottom line. And I don't think Russia would be a great partner for your prosperity. Okay, it's like the old USSR. That collapsed for a reason. A lot of the former Soviet republics are not necessarily the hottest economies in the world. And when they were under USSR, it was probably worse, because communism sucks, socialism sucks, it doesn't work. When you embrace communism, it always fails. People want to blame external factors for why their communism doesn't work. But it's always somebody else to blame. When it comes to capitalism, there's no such external things that are blamed all the time. You may have it blamed sometimes, but not every time like the way it is with communism. I want anyone who disagrees with me about the communism, socialism thing to show me a prosperous communist country. Not even China can be included in that, because they have basically a state-run system of capitalism. It's not communism in a traditional sense. They got their own little thing going on. They pretty much do whatever. And China's got problems as well. The construction, the real estate construction industry is a joke. You go, hey, you build you a brand new home, a brand new apartment in a high rise. I think I have cracks developing in 1 year. Within 2 years, it might collapse completely. Tofu construction, and they do that all over the world. I saw a story about China over in Angola, Africa. This is in Southern Africa, but not South Africa. Now, in Angola, what they did with China was they set up a deal. They said, okay, we'll give you this particular resource. I believe it was some oil, because they have oil in Angola. We'll give you plots of oil, and we want a hospital, a railroad, etc. So they built a hospital and or railroad. But in the case of the hospital, within 1 year, it developed a big crack down the middle. I'm talking about a big crack to the point where it looked like the building was going to just separate in half. Like, within 1 year, the building became condemned. They had to treat the patients outside in tents. But yet, China got what they wanted. What did Angola get? A condemned building in 1 year? Garbage construction? The railroads, anything like that, it requires Chinese maintenance. There's no training of the local people how to maintain it, because they want to do everything for themselves and keep getting that money rolling in. Hey, and you know what? A lot of this stuff is funded by debt. If you don't have the debt, well, look, I'm going to go ahead and just own that railroad outright. You can't pay for that port we built you for $100 quadrillion or whatever it is. That was never going to recoup the money. Well, now that'd be a military base. They were trying to do that in Venezuela. That was a play from China and Venezuela to have a military base right there, so they could be right close to us on our side of the water. We said, nope, not going to happen. Maduro going to come get him, scoop him up, and then take care of the rest. And then we going to take over and let them administer things the way they're going to do it without the Eastern influence, without the Chinese and Russian and Iranian influence. So, hey, you know what? I'm glad that they're taking care of Iran finally. I just hope it could just be done quickly. And I hope and pray that it's not going to be a lengthy thing. Like I said before, if it's going to be lengthy, then I'm against it. If it's going to be a quick process, in and out, thief in the night, then I'm all for it. All right. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. Okay, El Hombre Negro says, that crack ain't going to survive you and you complaining. Let's learn how to speak English. Okay, let's learn how to speak English, though. Let's learn how to write English. Matter of fact, just do some kind of translate. I don't know. Hey, write it in Espanol and then have it translate to English with proper grammar, because I don't know what you're talking about. That crack ain't going to survive you. What does that mean? What do you mean? That crack is not going to save you, as far as the crack in the building will not help you with your medical ailment by being there? I'm not sure what you're saying. I picky the English. I don't picky the Spanglish, the Ricky Martin, grandmama in the room. I don't know nothing about that. You got to speak regular. You got to speak regular, bro. Like, come on. What are we talking about? But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. That's right, Brian. 47 years long enough. It's been long enough. It's time. It's been overdue. People keep talking about it. Oh, but I do what I ran. Okay, let's go ahead and just do it, because it was going to happen at a certain point in time, whether by choice or by force, whether we went in there by our own choice or we were forced to do something after they did something. So it was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of time. All right. But hold on, let me see some more here. Oh, Zohran Mamdani. Now, bro, I know what happened with your wife. She's on the internet just recklessly liking stuff, posting stupid stuff. And they went back. You know, one thing I don't like, I'm gonna keep you all the way real. I don't like when people go all the way back into your Twitter history, like when you were a teenager. Like, I've been on Twitter for 18 years. 2008, I joined Twitter, now known as X. So I deleted a lot of myself from back then, because the things I was saying at 24 years old, maybe right now at 41, I don't feel the exact same way, just maybe. I signed up when I was still, that year was when Obama got elected, and I voted for Obama. That was the first Obama term in 2008 when I first signed up. So that tells you how much time has passed. 08, 12, 16, like time, a lot of time has passed. So I'm not really a big fan of going back in somebody's faraway history to dig up old stuff and say, hey, look at this. Now, what's most relevant is her recent stuff, liking the post about October 7, blaming the Israelis. That's the more recent thing that matters. However, it still doesn't matter, because who is she really? Just because you're the wife or the husband or the boyfriend or the girlfriend or the son or the daughter of the man does not make you as important as the man. We all love Melania, but I'm not looking to Melania for her takes on political issues at all, because I'm going to defer to your husband. That's just what it is, because Melania is not the president. Melania is not Secretary of State. Melania is just Melania. And we respect her and we love her for that, but she's not the president. So her takes are not going to be as important. However, I'm going to say this, just being all the way real. If Melania Trump was to have the social media history of Zohran Mamdani's wife, whatever her name is, if she had that same history and it was brought to light, then it would be the end of days in the minds of many on the left, in the minds of all on the left, especially in mainstream media. It'd be the end of days. It'd be, it'd be the worst thing since 9/11. That's what it would be like. Although I would feel the exact same way as I feel right now about Mamdani's wife. And she's young. Mamdani's wife is 28 years old. The reasonable thing to do for Mamdani's wife, is to stay off social media. But like I said in my video, I have a question. Do you think it would be so easy to convince a 28-year-old woman to stay off her phone? You think you're going to be able to do that without any kind of kickback? I have a voice. I want to be heard. Mamdani, like, look, all you got to do is just cook this naan bread that we be eating. Okay, the baklava or whatever they eat in Syria, because she's Syrian. Hey, just go over there, cook that, come out on stage, smile and wave, look pretty. That's all you got to do. You don't got to do no work, but they want to have a voice. They want to be heard. They want taken seriously. But it's like, you don't need to do that. That's why this whole thing bubbled up, because she was on social media pretending to be important. And of course, she said something she shouldn't have said, liked something she shouldn't have liked, and now there's a controversy. But Zoran, he's good with the way he handles things. You know, my wife's a private person. I love her. So you defending her, but also saying she's not really somebody to actually look at about anything. Now, sometimes that's not the case. In the case of Bill de Blasio, let's not forget his wife. Remember? Oh, I just happened to lose $900 million. I don't know where it's at. Huh? How you lose almost $1 billion? Listen, I'm not going to lose a quarter in my pocket. If I knew I went to the grocery store, I paid with cash, and they gave me 25 cents back, they gave me a nice shiny quarter, I'm going to find that quarter. Hey, at the end of the day, I'm getting ready for bed, I'm changing my clothes or whatever. I'm going to go in my pants pockets, and I'm going to try to find that quarter. If I don't, I'm going to be in my couch cushions for one quarter. I sure will. $1 billion? How you lose that? That's called stealing. That's called theft. But we'll just say she lost it because she did something silly, like a lot of people who are not in government, who are not elected, tend to do. Okay? This is the whole thing with Kamala Harris as well, since I'm right here talking about it. Remember, 24, Biden runs again as the incumbent, right? The whole time we all knew that he wasn't going to be able to actually run. So they pulled a bait and switch. They have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Let me rephrase that. They have Joe Biden running for president and his VP was Kamala. You cannot vote for the vice president. You can vote for the vice governor depending upon where you are in certain states, but you cannot vote for the vice president. You're voting for the president, period. They do a little rug pull, a little bait and switch, little switcheroo at the last minute and said, oh, no, it's not going to be Joe because he's 1,000 years old and his family misses him and his son can't stop, hitting the, you know what I mean? He can't stop beaming the Scotty. He's got a bad family. He's got a 10-2. So it'd be Kamala instead. People said, what? Excuse me? And then what was the excuse? Oh, she's on the ticket. She's on the ticket. So what though? What that mean? I didn't vote for her. I voted for him. Not me, but those who did vote for him would say that. Same thing with wives, husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends. Anybody vote for y'all? We voted for the person we voted for, not you. So don't get involved in government. Don't get involved with any of this political stuff. And if you do want to do that, then let us vote for you like a Hillary Clinton. Okay? If you want to vote for her to be a senator, secretary of state, that's fine. But you can't say, let's let Bill be the governor, and then you come in and be the president. You can't say, let's let Bill be the governor, and then you come in and be the governor. Or let's let Bill be the president, and you come in and be the vice president. Or that's not the way it works at all. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. Okay, Oscar Rodriguez says, just let Cuba alone. Otherwise, it'll be like Puerto Rico, and it's a mess. Well, let me ask you this question. Where would you rather live at right now, Puerto Rico or Cuba? And be serious. Be honest and be direct, and don't hem and haw with your answer. Where would you rather live at right now, Puerto Rico or Cuba? I mean, and again, Cuba has to rely on one of the two powers in this world, the East or the West. They can't just do it on their own. So as a matter of national security, you want them to rely on us and not to rely on them. Because if they rely on them, that's going to be a danger to us. They're going to put military base. They were trying to do that in Venezuela. You want them to be controlled by us if they cannot be self-sufficient. It's just simple as that. And you can't say neither. You can't cop out like that. You got to say one or the other, because this is what happens with politicians. You must make these decisions. You can't just say, oh, I don't want to do either one. No, you have to make a decision. You got to say, Cuba will be controlled by the East or the West. It can't be anywhere in the middle, because if you, let's say, for example, you're President Trump and you are given that decision to make. You are faced with that decision, East or West, and you say, neither one. Okay, well, Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping are not going to be indecisive like that. They're going to say, we'll take it. It ain't really nothing else you can. That's pretty much just what it is. There's no gray area, no in between. Either it is or it ain't. And if it ain't, then it is. Real simple. That's right, UFO kamikaze. Harsh reality. 100%. So yeah, what would you rather be? Puerto Rico or Cuba right now? Puerto Rico is not perfect, but I mean, there's a lot of imperfect states in this union, like Minnesota, for example, California, for example. There's imperfect states in this union. There's imperfect places in the world. So to say that Puerto Rico has challenges, that's not really, in my opinion, a reasonable excuse as to why we should just take no action on Cuba. Eternal Spring says Puerto Rico, but I have severe diarrhea. Okay, yeah, I ain't gonna say that, but I got you. I understand. Oh, okay, NKM, you said where you rather live. I got you. Yeah, I got you. I'm talking about where would you rather pick if you had to pick as far as like what's a better place, Puerto Rico or Cuba right now? And the answer is Puerto Rico. You might not want to live in either place, but I think we can all see which one is a better place. But anyway, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. But I pretty much got everything. Oh, Cuba. We're going to get to Cuba because we got influencers down there. Ilhan Omar's daughter is in Cuba. Hassan Piker, Chunk Yogurt's nephew, he's in Cuba streaming and stuff like this. And it was funny because I saw Chunk Yogurt's nephew, Hassan Piker, talking about, well, the best people are still in Cuba and the bad ones fled. That makes no sense. Most Cubans, if you were to ask them, in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, if y'all are Cuban or know any Cubans more than I do, or if you're in Miami, which is Cuba Part 2, let me know if I'm right or wrong about what I'm about to say. But I would presume that the majority of Cubans in Cuba would leave Cuba if they had the opportunity to do so. You're talking about grinding poverty, hunger, and things like this have been going on for a long time. They want to blame Trump and this and that, but these things have been going on for a long time, which is why Cubans have been leaving the island, coming to America on rafts and trying to swim and stuff like this for years and years and years and years and years. All right. That's just what it is. NB says invest into Cuba and Venezuela, but they will be their own country, make business there. That's where I'm at with it. Let's let them be sovereign, but invest into these places for sure. For 100% certain. And now we got AI and all that kind of stuff happening. I think we can do some things that may not necessarily require human hands. How you feel about that? How you feel about AI replacing the need for human labor to a certain extent? I don't know if I like that because some say it's going to increase productivity and it'll lighten the burden off of human beings. But I think at a certain point, human beings need some kind of burden because when we don't have it, what are we going to be? Like these creatures and what's that? And Wally? Hold on. Let me see if I can find what I'm talking about. Yeah, okay. It's perfect right here. Fitless humans. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. Hold on. Let me show you what I'm talking about right quick. And then we're going to keep on rocking.
So let's hover over to the driving range and hit a few virtual balls into space.
Nah, we did that yesterday. I don't want to do that.
Well, then what do you want to do?
So I ain't going to play the audio because they're going to give me a copyright, but this is just kind of what's going on, okay? You got all these fat humans sitting in their chair, VR, and just pretty much doing nothing. Just doing nothing. Okay? We don't really need that. We need people to go out and be productive and actually utilize their bodies for more than just, an entertainment receptacle of food, like a garbage disposal, basically. We don't want that to be the future of human beings. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how we're going to, deal with the lack of human productivity if there is a future in which you got AI and robots doing everything. Yeah, hey, hold on. Low Fat Water says that's us in the future. I hope not. I really do hope not. I'm gonna be outside and being physically fit and active for as long as I can. I'm gonna try to be 100 years old, still going hard. That's my goal. I don't want to be a fitless human. I don't want to do that at any point in my life at all. But again, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. We got a lot more to get into, but first things first, thank you guys for watching. You know you guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. I could not do this show without you. But also, shout out to the sponsors. Thank you to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will always be in the description, or visit patriotpost.us in your browser. Tell them that ABL sent you. Also, please go to the merch website, ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. We got hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. Also, please go to the regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LFGAN.com. And on the front page of the website, for each long-form video I produce, I write an article, and in each article, I have sources from the left, from the right, from the center, from the Democratic, Republican, political, agnostic, local, national, international, whatever you want. I got it right there on the front page of the website, anthonyblogan.com. Also, go to the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. There you're able to find my email address, my email address, my UPS box, of course, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, never going to call it X, TikTok. All my links are right there on the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. And before I continue, happy 20-year birthday to Twitter, now known as X. 20 years, can you believe it? I signed up in 2008. I'll never forget it. I'm in my office back in the day. And me and my homie Derek, shout out Derek if you're watching. Me and Derek, and I'm trying to explain to him what Twitter is. Because at the time I had seen Twitter, I kind of was getting familiar with it. I was like doing research on it back in 2008. This was like right when Obama got elected, the whole 9 yards. So I was just trying to figure it out. I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and just dive on in, sign up. And it's been great ever since. I get a lot of information from there. I can do a lot of research. And Elon Musk is a godsend, because when he purchased it, he took it to the next level. Twitter was always like a place I got information from and did research and got clips and stuff. But now that Elon's there, it's just to the moon. And Grok, the AI, is fantastic. A lot of my thumbnails, I use Grok to create. Not anything of me. I don't do any AI of me. But let's say, for example, the rodeo issue, the Houston rodeo. So that's an AI picture of the young lady and then the guy. That's straight AI. It's easy prompts. It ain't nothing too difficult. The prompt might have been a sentence and some change long, and it gave me that. So shout out to Grok, shout out to Twitter, shout out to Elon Musk. 20-year anniversary today, so shout out to them. But anyway, speaking about social media and speaking about communicating and doing research, if you think you're being contacted by someone who claims to be me, it's probably not me. If you didn't email me first at my email, contact@anthonyblogan.com. If you didn't do that and I didn't respond to you, you're probably not speaking to me, most likely, especially if there's an ask of some money, of a gift card, or some kind of transactional thing. Y'all know who it is. It'd be a guy over in India. Okay, he's 10,000 deep in one office building, flip-flops at best, with a long sleeve shirt and some pants from who knows where. Okay, no socks at all in his house. It'd be that guy trying to rob you. Or it'd be a guy, Eastern Europe, with a wife beater on, a cigarette named Boris or Vladimir or something like that. Some kind of Slavic kind of name, a Vladimir, just like Zelensky. You got Zelensky and Putin. It's almost Ukraine and Russia is different, but they got the same name. His name is Vladimir, and the other guy's name is Vladimir. Or they spell it different, Voldemort. It's like spelling Muhammad differently. Okay, you spell Muhammad with the O. He has an A, and you got a U as the first vowel. Congratulations. You have different spelled names, but it's the same name. Same thing as a Vladimir. But anyway, it could be a Vladimir trying to rob you, or it'd be a guy over in Nigeria with every vowel in his first name repeated 2 times. And it's going to start with an A. Yes, I have an A name, but it's not a Nigerian name. And I don't sound like that. I sound like an American citizen. You see me on the phone, you see me in Nigeria talking regular, I'm not going to sound like them. They're going to sound like this. I do not sound like that. That's not my voice. I do not have that registered in my repertoire. It's not part of my charisma to speak this way. Don't you understand? Don't be a simpleton. Do not fall for these games. I am not the guy trying to take your money. It's not me. So yeah, don't fall for that. Nobody has time for that in 2026. Okay, Chuck Norris. So Trump was asked about Chuck Norris. As you know, Trump is so accessible. And I'm sorry for the freeze frame. He's so accessible. They always ask him about people that die. Always. That's like a thing with him. So now we're talking about Chuck Norris, and this is his first time finding out about what happened. And of course, we got the real vice president. Hey, we got the real VP, his favorite son, Rubio, right in the back, of course. But let's watch.
I thought he was a great guy. Wow.
Yeah, he died in the hospital, I believe, in Hawaii, but he was a supporter of yours.
Yeah, he was a supporter. Chuck Norris died. I didn't know that. He was a great guy. He was a really good, tough cookie. You didn't want to fight him, I can tell you. He was a tough, great guy, and he was a great supporter. Wow, that's too bad. Tell his family highest respect. Right? Great man.
There we go. So shout out to Trump. Shout out to Big Marco in the back, of course. Hey, man, I'm telling you, Marco, that's my guy. And shout out to President Trump for being always respectful when people pass away. And so some right here, right now, before we get to Chuck Norris and what he said about Trump and being a conservative Trump supporter. Yes, he was. Trump is a guy that's respectful when people pass, that he knew. Now, Bob Mueller also passed. He ain't like that. He was like, you know what? Hey, R.I.P. Bozo type stuff. That's what he did with Bob Mueller. But I think that Trump is the kind of person who's not going to be fake. If he didn't like you when you were living, he's not going to sit there and say that he did when you die. Jesse Jackson, Chuck Norris, these are guys that he liked. So he's not going to speak about them negatively. But Bob Mueller, and I don't blame him for the Bob Mueller take. Hold on. Matter of fact, do I have the Bob Mueller tape? And if you guys didn't know, Bob Mueller has died. I think that was today. Okay, I think that was today. And here is what Trump said. All right, Robert Mueller just died. Good. I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people. President Donald J. Trump. So, hey, love him or hate him, he's going to be all the way real. Love him or hate him, it don't matter. He's going to be all the way real. And I can respect that. I appreciate when somebody is just honest. Whether I like what they say or I don't, I respect the honesty. Now, I'm a guy, I'm a nice guy. I wouldn't say nothing like that. I almost posted about Bob Mueller, but I'm not a fan of his either, so I just didn't even say anything. I didn't say anything. But Trump said, you know what? R.I.P. Bozo. Okay, now here we got Chuck Norris. What? Talking about going from Democrat to Republican.
Why are you a conservative, sir?
Well, I used to be a Democrat, but unfortunately the Democrats went too far to the left, and the Republicans moved into their position that the Democrats were 40 years ago. See, and so what the Democrats believed 40 years ago, the Republicans believe today. And so I realized that I had to go to a Republican because the Democrats just got too far off the trail. They just got completely off the trail and lost all reality of what America stood for. And so I realized that Republicans at this point in time are more focused on what is best for America than what the Democrats are.
Right on. I think most Americans feel that same way. That, well, I'm going to say most Americans. I'm going to say a lot of former Democrats feel the same way because they have stayed still. They have not changed in their ideology, but the Democratic Party has. So when they wake up one day and they look at both sides in a serious way, not just, okay, red or blue. When they look at both sides in a serious way, they see a change. They don't like the change in their own party, and the other party is more aligned with what they thought previously. So they're going to go to the other party. That's what a lot of Democrats, former Democrats, feel. That's why they switched from left to right, because it's not them that switched, it's the party itself that switched. Now, some of y'all are asking me, who's Bob Mueller? Okay, let me play an old Charlie Kirk clip, and RIP to my friend Charlie, RIP. Let me play an old Charlie Kirk clip to give you some information. Bob Mueller was the former FBI director, if I'm not mistaken. Make sure I'm saying the right thing. He was, former FBI director, and he was a special counsel on the whole Russia hoax. Okay, here's an old Charlie clip talking about Bob Mueller.
In the first Trump term, they took a lot of it away from him. At this moment during Trump 1, we had Bob Mueller lurking around because of all of this fake Russian information. The most precious thing a president has is time. And they took time away from President Donald Trump. Every day he was up against the wall with these fake and unsubstantiated and deceitful rumors that were being thrown at him. And he was barely able to pass a legislative agenda, let alone be able to have an attorney general of his choosing, because of this fabricated story by our own intel agencies. And so I think we need more than apologies here, Sean. I hope that we exhaust every possible judicial and potential indictment that could be done here, because this is a serious thwarting of our constitutional system. They say that we are a threat to democracy. What they did to Donald Trump, what they did to our country, what they did after the 2016 election is the greatest threat to democracy that we have seen in the last 50 years. And I think it's time that people start to be held accountable, and justice is more than warranted in this circumstance.
There we go. So if you didn't know about Bob Mueller, now you know. And again, RIP Charlie. Let's keep moving here. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, what you may not know is that he did a really big hike. Now, listen, I'm reading this right from Complex. It says, Chuck Norris stayed active and strong even in his later years. Just months before he died at age 86, he climbed Lassen Peak, a 10,457-foot volcano in California, and shared the moment on Instagram. The hike is only very difficult, but Norris completed it and reflected on the memories tied to the place. What a day. I had the pleasure of hiking Lassen Peak once again. While I was heartbroken to see the damage left behind by the 2021 Dixie Fire, the park's beauty still shines through. Walking those trails brought back so many memories. My wife grew up around these parts, and I'll always be grateful she introduced me to such a magnificent sight. Chuck Norris on IG. So even in his 80s, 85, I suppose, in this picture, climbing a 10,000-foot peak in California. So he lived life to the fullest. And I think that we could all take a page from his book on how to live if we can. That's goals right there, to be able to hike. I enjoy hiking and stuff like this, and mountains and nature. That's definitely a goal when I get to be his age. 85 years old hiking, yeah, that's definitely a goal. All right, let's keep on moving here. Now, this is going to be Trump and the Japanese Prime Minister. Hold on, before I go to the Japanese Prime Minister, I had another video about Chuck Norris I wanted to show, because it kind of fits with the Japanese Prime Minister, because it shows Trump was always a guy that people liked. This is 1991 WrestleMania. Okay, and in this video you have Trump with Chuck Norris, Henry Winkler, the Fonz from Good Times, Lou Ferrigno, the original Incredible Hulk. Somebody asked me one time, it was like, hey, ABL, who's your favorite Incredible Hulk out of everybody who's played him on television, movies, or whatever? And I say Lou Ferrigno, because he actually looked like that in real life. It was no CGI, no special effects. They put some green makeup on him and said, you the Incredible Hulk. He actually looked like that in real life. All he had was a green paint job. Mark Ruffalo could never. All these guys could never. Anyway, let's keep on rocking.
or two. Oh, Chuck Norris, my good friend from Bull Racing. The whole gang is here. Chuck, this is your first WrestleMania. You and I had an opportunity to talk earlier. What are your impressions?
Well, they're great athletes. You know, there's no doubt about it. I've been watching it most of my life, wrestling, way back to the Gorgeous George days, in Argentina, Rocca, and all these guys. And they're just tremendous athletes. I've worked out with Hulk Hogan before. I did a movie with Professor Tanaka, so I know what great athletes these guys are.
All right, there we go. So yeah, happy Days, of course. The Fonz, Henry Winkler from Happy Days, and Lou Ferrigno, the Incredible Hulk. And of course, Trump and Chuck Norris. This is like peak late 80s, early 90s right here. And is that his wife right there, Marlon Maples? I'm not sure where that is. Or the first wife. Not Melania, obviously. Let's keep on going. Now, here is Trump with Japanese Prime Minister Sakae Takaichi, I believe her name is. If I said that wrong, I apologize. But here is their introduction, their greeting. Now, you would expect a bow or something like that, but she didn't do that. So there we go. Got a big hug from Japanese Prime Minister. Okay, big hug. See? Now that right there, you don't see that too often. Usually it's like real cold. You're like, which is totally fine. That's just a little bit different. A little bit different, but it's all good. It is all good. Okay, now, this moment, people were kind of upset about because he made a joke about Pearl Harbor. People were upset about that, but it's like at a certain point, it's a joke, and you got to be able to take it. All right, let's check it out.
Let me pick a beautiful person from Japan. A question for the Prime Minister. Go ahead. Yeah. Sure. Oh, he doesn't believe he's beautiful. Oh. He's sounding shy. Go ahead, please.
Of course, no. Japan and US are very good friends, but. One question, why didn't you tell US allies in Europe and Asia like Japan about the war before attacking Iran? So we are very confused about we Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing, you don't want to signal too much. You know, when we go in, we went in very hard and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay, why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay, right? You know, he's asking me. Now you believe in surprise, I think much more so than us, and we had to surprise him, and we did. And because of that surprise, we knocked out the first 2 days. We probably knocked out 50% of what and much more than we anticipated doing. So. If I go and tell everybody about it, there's no longer a surprise.
Hey, you know what? Some may be offended at the joke about Pearl Harbor or whatever, but I have a question.
Let me pick.
I have just one question. Did he lie? Where's the lie, though? That's what I'm saying. I prefer the truth, even if somebody might get offended. It's the truth. I'm sorry that it's offensive, but it's the truth. Okay? Japanese, they did Pearl Harbor. That was a surprise. And we did a surprise on Iran. So it's okay. It's totally fine. And what he said about, you know, if you tell people, then there's no element of surprise. Because we see some of these leakers, Joe Kent, allegedly Joe Kent. We'll get to him in a minute. You don't want to have the probability of a thing like this being leaked and the mission being destroyed. The mission being ruined before it starts. You want to keep that close to the test as possible. And Japan knows that. So why even ask that question? Anyway, let's keep on rocking. Okay, let's keep on rocking. No. Here is Benjamin Netanyahu talking about the rumors he had died. Oh, you guys think I'm dead? I'm not here. I'm not here. Fortune slip. I'm not gone. I'm right here. You're all witnesses. All right, let's check it out.
Welcome to the Foreign Press. First of all, I just want to say I'm alive, and you're all witnesses. And now that I dispatched this piece of fake news, I want to give you an update on Operation Roaring Lion. Under President Trump's visionary leadership, America and Israel are acting together in Iran with great determination and unprecedented strength. Welcome.
So what do y'all think? Do you guys think that Bibi, the Prime Minister of Israel, is he dead? Is he alive? What's going on? There's been quite a few videos, quite a few things being released. Some say that he's not here. He got hit by an Iranian strike. That was a rumor. And some say that he is still here. He is still kicking. And there are just rumors about his death, that he's not dead. He's actually still among us. What do y'all think? Y'all let me know. All right, let's keep on rolling. Now, this is going to be the Saudi foreign minister speaking about Iran and the things that the regime has done, the negative things the regime has done, the anti-Islamic things that the Iranian regime has done. Again, this is going to be the Saudi foreign minister, not a United States person acting as a liaison. I'm talking about an actual Saudi. All right, let's check it out.
I don't know how they claim to be fighting for Islamic causes.
Now, just be clear. This is an image that somebody created. The background is not the Islamic flag. The background is this green piece right here. You see where it says Clash Report? Someone added this on top just for this particular video, but that was not present in the original. But the video below the Islamic flag is the original. Just be on the same page so we're not confused.
I don't know how they claim to be fighting for Islamic causes while attacking Islamic countries. They are not attacking a single nation. Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, UAE, Oman, Lebanon, Jordan, Azerbaijan, Turkey. All these countries are Islamic countries, yet Iran attacks them. And even before this war, what was Iran's contribution in the issues related to the Islamic world? They support the Houthi militia in Yemen. They supported the popular militia in Iraq and now they are attacking Iraq. They are attacking Iraq territories, Hezbollah in Lebanon, who didn't suffice by hijacking the political decision in Lebanon, but rather was an effective arm to perform sabotaging actions in the region and in Saudi Arabia. And the biggest example is Iran and Hezbollah's role in Syria. So where is such support or so-called support in the Muslim world when they commit such crimes, and supporting the former Syrian regime? How do they support the Islamic world when they assassinate politicians in Lebanon? How do they support the Muslim world's issues and causes when they empower the popular mobilization forces in Iraq, hindering the development efforts in Iraq? I can't see how they support the Islamic causes. I believe these are simple slogans which they hide behind it, and these tools, they work to serve the Iranian interests rather than the slogans they claim.
There it is. So again, that's a Saudi foreign minister talking about the Iranian regime and their atrocities they commit to other Islamic countries. They say they're for the Islamic people. They say they're for the Islamic cause. Okay, why are you attacking Islamic countries? There were two countries that got you. That's USA and Israel. Your efforts should be there and not hitting Azerbaijan and Turkey, places like this. They are a destabilizing force in the whole world to everyone, including other Islamic nations. Everybody, like I said, I was asking the same question before. Who are Iran's allies? What, China, Russia? Because of the oil? But who else? Is there anybody that's aligned with them philosophically, religiously, anything? No. Okay, now, speaking about Iran, they were able to fire 2 missiles at the Diego Garcia base, which is way, way, way out in the Indian Ocean, south of India, south of Sri Lanka. But they said their missiles could not reach out that far before. That's what they said. They said quite a few things. Oh, we don't have nuclear weapon. We don't. That's what they say. But obviously, since they were able to fire at Diego Garcia, what they said about their missile range and not wanting to go beyond that was a lie. Let's watch.
Of the missiles here, that again, if you see what's published, it talks about 2,000 miles being the maximum range of the Iranian ballistic missile program. When I was in the military, it was pretty clear that Iran wanted a missile capable of reaching continental United States, and it isn't about just having a bigger missile, because obviously a lot of its flight track is through space, so it doesn't have any drag. But there's lots of complications once you start going long distances. But this distance here, about 4,000 kilometers, as you say, it's over 2,000 miles. And therefore, they were very successfully able to strike that far, which raises the question, how much further could those missiles actually strike?
How many miles from Iran to the United States?
Well, I think you're about 12,000 kilometers, so you're talking about significantly more. But as I say, actually, it's more about, once you get the missile into space, it's free flow, and then you've got to control it on the way down. So some of it is more about technology than it is about the size of the missiles. And it's been long declared that this was a capability that Iran had up its sleeve. I think what's interesting is the fact that they didn't actually hit their targets. It's also the news this morning seems to be making a big thing about this being a UK base. We have to point out, I think there are less than 100 UK personnel there. It's largely dominated by the United States. And given that the United States is the lead of the fight, the war in Iran, it's an entirely legitimate target if you look at it through Iran's lens. It does appear the defensive systems have worked.
But as you were saying, expensively so, right?
Oh, very expensive. But what price do you pay on protecting yourself? I think the other interesting thing is that there's a lot of political commentary about whether our government was right not to side with America. And you go, the worry is always that if you do, you become a target. If Iran does have missiles that are capable of reaching the UK, then we would be very worried, because we have no ballistic missile defense capability in this country. And therefore,
that's going to be a problem, because look at the range. You see, the range really is more than that. They got it like hitting like Bulgaria and stuff like this, the eastern part of Ukraine. They got it hitting Greece, Hungary, stuff like that. But it can go probably all the way out to Western Europe. You're talking about Spain, France, UK, Germany, Poland, all of that. It can hit all of that too. And if it can hit Western Europe, it might be able to jump the pond and hit us too. But Iran don't have the missile capability. They can't hit us. They're not a threat. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, Joe Kent. They're not a threat. All right. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Joe Kent. Anyway, let's keep on going.
Japan.
Now, Japan, speaking about Japan from earlier, they are supposedly getting ready to gain access to the Strait of Hormuz, because remember, this little body of water right here, and again, if you don't know what this body of water is, it's the Strait of Hormuz. It's a natural waterway. Iran is right here. Those little islands right there, that's Iran too. This little piece, that's Oman. And then you're going to have UAE right there. Dubai is like right down at the very bottom of the picture. So if you want to go somewhere for a vacation, I wouldn't want to go to Dubai right now, because they could just launch a drone from right there and hit you right there. It wouldn't take that much. But anyway,
Japan is reportedly on the verge of gaining access to the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's foreign minister confirmed the existence of talks to lift its de facto blockade for Japanese vessels on Friday. About 90% of Japan's oil imports travel through the Strait of Hormuz. Negotiations come as Japan's prime minister met with President Trump at the White House this week, where he asked Europe and Asian nations for assistance in clearing the Strait of mines and in sending escort tankers. Leaders from nations including Japan, France, and the UK have since signed onto an agreement to contribute appropriate efforts to ensure safe passage through the strait. Japan is...
All right, there we go. But yeah, that's going to be a key point of interest to get open, because you're talking about a lot of LNG, gas, oil, all of that comes right through there. You talking about fertilizer? Everything is going to be affected by this area not being open. Okay, let's keep on going. Now, this is a C-17 landing at LAX. Okay, and this is seen from the In-N-Out burger that's like right there. Now, this is an impressive. This is a very impressive piece of technology, an impressive aircraft. Check it out. Now that right there, that's something else. That is something else. You see that coming at you? Hey, that's like a giant tank in the sky, for real. And somebody said it. We got 22 countries on the job of getting the Strait of Hormuz open. So we got a nice little coalition trying to get things back to normal because the gas prices, hey man, it's unsustainable. Okay, I'm not trying to pay California prices for gas in East Tennessee. That's just not what I'm into. Shout out to the C-17, big, beautiful airplane. Now, they say, I saw some stats about that. I forget what it was. But yeah, shout out to the C-17. Okay. And let's keep on rocking and rolling. Oh, Don Lemon. Somebody said something about lemon cake. I'm not going to answer that question because what are we talking about? But anyway, speaking about Don Lemon, talking about, well, Iran shoots protesters, but so do we. So we're the same. And you know what? It never ceases to amaze me how dumb some of these guys are. It never ceases to amaze me just how silly these guys are. That at one point we're on television.
Reporters have privilege, it's like an attorney. And so you have to be very careful about those things, and we cannot lose those things. Otherwise, we are going to lose the First Amendment. We're going to lose the freedom of the press, because part of that is having sources and being able to be trusted by those sources, that you're not going to give any information away that they give you. Reporters go to jail over refusing to give up a source. And then usually it ends up with working out for them, saying they don't have to, and they get out, but still. So we cannot lose those norms and those traditions, because otherwise we're no better than a country that we're at war with right now. And we're saying, that Iran shoots protesters. Well, so do we. And we're over there because Iran, jails reporters, or doesn't have free speech, and that makes us no better than them. If we are acting and doing the very same things that they're doing, then what sort of moral authority do we have to be able to be there and in a war and, quite frankly, killing people?
Don Lemon, you stormed the church, bro. For real, I don't even you stormed the church. You did something that was really crazy. I never thought I'd see the day where you do something like that, but here we are. You don't seem to understand that that was inappropriate and really illegal. Maybe you do understand, and you're just trying to play ignorant, like you don't know. So you're trying to avoid jail time or any kind of penalty. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't understand. But anyway, how are you going to compare the Iranian regime to, I guess you're speaking about Rachel Nicole Good, Alex Prater, you're talking about them. Okay, the Iranian regime has killed bare minimum 40,000 of their own citizens just for protesting. What happened with Rachel Nicole Good and Alex Prater was that they were aggressing upon officers. See, when you are, let's say, for example, Alex Prater, he's a prime example. You have no signs, no message. You're out there with a gun on you, harassing people, fighting people, trying to start something and then something gets started and you lose, that is in no way comparable to what's happening with the Iranian people, where if you're suspected of being sympathetic toward the rebel cause, if you're suspected of being sympathetic toward the cause for freedom, if they think you might be anti-regime, they can come to your house and kill you. That is not the same thing, Don Lemon. But you know what? Guys like this, P-brains, and you got 2 brain cells. You go like that, it's like dice rolling. When you got that going on, you don't really understand that. You don't really get it. But see, this is why, and I see your funny hairline. Yo, you know what? Listen, Don, we all age. The top is going to be missing, okay? You were born with a hardtop Mustang, now you got a convertible. It's okay. Let the roof stay all the way down. Let it stay down. Because that right there, a little half on, half off, you know, wax on, wax off, that ain't really working. But anyway, yeah, it's much different. They were just shooting innocent people. Alex Pretty, Rachel Nicole Good were not innocent people. They aggressed upon officers, and they got dealt with. Simple as that. But I digress. Now, okay, we got Tucker Carlson with Chinese Professor Zhang saying that the USA should willingly forfeit its role as the big dog in the world, the number 1 power, and submit to China and Russia. And Tucker's like, yeah, you know what? I believe we should. Yeah. No lie. Watch out. Let's take a look.
So what I would do is basically sit down everyone, okay, including Russia, China, Iran, and say, it's time for a new world order where we are partners in this relationship, right? Before America was the hegemon, before the US dollar was the world reserve currency. But now what we want to do is open a dialogue where everyone is respected, where America is no longer the bully, but a willing partner in creating a new economic order that benefits everyone and not just a few.
I think that's the wisest possible advice and probably the only path that preserves civilization. But the one country standing in the way of that is Israel.
blame the Jays. That's the stupidest thing in the world. Because listen, Tucker Carlson, anybody else, if you got a podcast with sponsors, you get money with the Jays. Talking about let's blame Israel. You get money with them. You know, and you know that right there, for real, you know, the funniest part about that is that what he does and Cannon's people like this, what they do is like Bernie Sanders. It's like the ultimate J. Bernie Sanders says being rich is bad. That's just been his whole shtick for the past 40 years. But he's rich. Remember, Bernie Sanders came out and said, I'm against all the millionaires and the billionaires. Remember you saying that? And then over the years, it changed to, I'm against the billionaires. Well, why don't say millionaires no more? Because now he got multiple properties and a few houses. He's getting money. He came up. So he can't say millionaires anymore as far as those who should be taxed heavily because he is now a millionaire. You see how that works? He built his wealth off of telling you that being rich is bad. Tucker, same thing. Oh, the Jews are bad. Meanwhile, that's where I got my money from is the Jews. Anyway, let's keep on going. Hey, let's keep on going. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Oh, and that Jane guy, here's a little bit more from him, okay? Here's a bit more from him, so you understand who we're dealing with. Just so we got context, because context is very important in these matters. Okay, check it out.
And okay,
tell us about game theory.
Yeah. So here's my grand plan. Okay, my plan eventually is start my own religion. And so I'm using this YouTube platform in order to test certain ideas that I will need for this new religion. And that's why I switch around a lot. So you know, if you're a fan of certain topic, you can get annoyed because then like next semester I'll teach something completely different. But again, my goal is to be the Messiah. My goal is to become my own religion at this point.
So I got a question. Is he joking? He not cracking one smile. Is he joking? He wants his own religion. He wants to be the Messiah. He wants to be Jesus. Am I hearing this right? Let's let him continue.
So I'm going through the R&D phase of my life right now.
Yeah, this is you can do travel to Gnostic India as you could have like a Japanese brother, whatever the fuck they say Christ did, Gnostic with the internet now.
Well, no. I mean, like I will eventually go these places, but like at this point, I'm just trying to innovate with the framework, and then eventually I'll go and spread my message like Paul did. I'll travel like Paul, the apostle.
Okay.
Now, like, what's going on with that? That is a professor that was just talking to Tucker. That was him. So what was that all about, bro? You want to start a religion? You want to be the apostle? You want to be the Apostle Paul? You want to be the Messiah? Like, what are we talking about exactly? Hey, man, the internet is a really crazy place. Now, let's go to Joe Kent talking about Epstein being an intelligence asset, and he said, you know what? The reason why I think he was intelligence is because of what I read on the internet. I'm not making this up. Let's watch. And Joe Kent, man, he looks funny. Something about his face. Like, what's going on with his face? Am I tripping? Is it just me? Or does his face just not look right? I don't know. Something ain't, it's a little off. Maybe it's just me being biased against him. But let's keep on going.
I do want to also ask you about Jeffrey Epstein. So you had, I'm sure you probably have been reading the news. You were inside the administration also at this time. You did have a very high level security clearance. Do you think that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset?
Yeah, I do. That's my opinion. The NCTC, we never touched any of the Epstein stuff. That was all under DOJ, lock and key. So I don't really have any insider knowledge beyond what I've read personally, same stuff you've read on the internet. But yeah, to some degree. Now, was he, a freebooter, a privateer who occasionally would do contract work with different intelligence agencies? That's just my opinion. That's kind of the realm that he was in. But there's obviously something much darker there. There's something else that speaks to just the power dynamics in our world. I think that's in those files. And, I think we should continue to question everything about those files, and we should demand that our government actually gives us transparency.
I agree.
Joe, you know full well that there's no there. You know that. Everybody knows that. So I don't understand why you're bringing it up. Guys that are in intelligence for real, they know that the BS that a lot of us are told is simply not true. It's a distraction at best. So when you say stuff about Israel and the Epstein files, I don't understand what your motive is. What's your purpose? Because it's not to tell the truth, obviously.
Well, considering that, our colleagues over at Dropside News, they commissioned a poll. A lot of Americans believe that the war in Iran was to distract from the Epstein files. Do you think there's any credence to that idea?
That's an interesting theory. But I would say I would disagree just in the sense that the drumbeat for the war with Iran has been going on, I think, longer than most people knew who Epstein was. But I think it was probably a welcome distraction considering how much it was in the news. Because again, if you want people to rally around the flag, start a new war, that's kind of like politics 101, tragically. So I think that factor, but I don't think it was specifically for Epstein. Had the Epstein files never existed, there'd still be, unfortunately, a neoconservative Israeli lobby for a war with Iran.
Yeah, sticking.
All right, that's pretty much what's going on. So this is Joe Kent talking about Epstein files. I just, nah, I'm not believing it. Now here we have Dan Bongino responding to Joe Kent's interview with Tucker Carlson. Okay, shout out Dan Bongino. I know some of y'all are not big Dan Bongino fans, but I'm gonna play it anyway. Okay, again, Dan Bongino talking about Joe Kent, responding to him, calling him a liar. Now, let's not forget who Dan Bongino is. First of all, Secret Service, former Secret Service, intelligence, and he was deputy FBI director. Let's not forget that. Because who was Joe Kent? He was a director of an agency, but not at the level of, he was not as high as Dan Bongino.
The truth will always set you free, every time. Now you're seeing the grift
totally, completely exposed. Bare ass out there and everything. Joe Kent's a liar. As I said yesterday and the day before, Joe was a friend. Joe disgraced himself last night. Joe's history of service to the country, beyond reproach. Period. That does not change anything about what happened last night, however, that Joe Kent is a liar. Calling someone a liar is a big deal, and I know that.
What kind of pressure does it require to get a president who campaigned against exactly this thing for 10 years to do exactly this thing? What does it take to do that?
I wish I knew definitively. I think there's two potentials or two schools of thought. I mean, one is the media echo chamber, the donors, the way the Israelis come in and kind of launder the information like I described previously.
In 20 seconds, you have it right. This is the mark for suckers. You fall for the hidden knowledge scam and the gatekeeper theory that you voted for Donald Trump, but he's not smart enough to know what's going on. Donald Trump does not know what's going on. Quote, the Israelis have laundered intelligence. I saw the intelligence. So did he. He's lying. That is a lie. Yeah, that's right, folks. The NSA and its huge budget and the CIA and the FBI, CTD, Counterterror Division, and our Counterespionage Division, Counterintel, everyone's just sitting around jerking off all day. You believe that shit?
Okay. Sorry for the foul language from Dan Bongino, but that's that. Now, some are saying, well, he's not in the FBI anymore. Well, neither is Joe Kent. He's not in the government anymore either. Okay, he was going to get fired before he quit. So they're both not working for the government anymore. So whose word is worth more than the other based upon no longer being employed by the federal government? Let's talk about that. And somebody want to say I'm low IQ. Oh, is that what you think? Really? Me, low IQ? If you think that, you have low IQ. Don't even do that. Me? ABL, low IQ? No. I'm just not a person who just believes anything that I'm told because it sounds good. Or I think I found some knowledge that is not being said by anybody else. This whole thing about the Jews, this, the Jews, that is stupid. Really, it's a distraction. I went down the rabbit hole when I was real young, when I was in my 20s. When I was like 26, I went through that rabbit hole of the Jews. I went through all of that way long time ago. Y'all telling me some old news. It's not anything new. And I pray that everybody gets more knowledge than that. Y'all talking about the distracting things that don't even matter. It doesn't really matter at all. Okay, I'm going to read some of this. Now, JK, and you know what? I'm going to issue a challenge to you, JK. I see you in the comments talking a lot. Call me later when I open the phone lines. At 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will open the phone lines for you. Now, I do not anticipate your call. I don't expect your call, but I'm giving you the open invite to call me. We can talk about it. I'm low IQ. I don't know nothing. I don't want to hear the argument. I'm not hearing it out. Call me. We can have a discussion rather than the back and forth in the comment section. But I don't think you'll call because you guys never ever do. Because you're more comfortable in your basement just talking crazy. But anyway, I'm getting offended. I'm getting triggered. Okay, let's go to this situation. This is a Russia Today reporter, RT reporter, out there in Lebanon, and he almost got hit by a missile strike. Okay, it was like that close to getting him. That's funny. NKM says JK is Joe Kent. That's hilarious. Hey, is that you, Joe Kent? Is that your burner account, Joe Kent? That's funny. That is hilarious. Joe Kent on a little stream like this? Why? Anyway, let's watch.
Further rocket attacks were reported against Nahariya and admitted.
Hey, you know what? You have on the flat jacket for a reason. It's not just for nothing. And it's not for nothing. You're in the active war zone. You're wearing the flat jacket. You should have on the helmet too. And you might need to be in the vehicle, some kind of armored vehicle, because you're right in the mix. I'm seeing debris behind you already. So this area had already been hit by a missile before. You're right in a line of fire during an active hot war. So hopefully he's okay.
Further rocket attacks were reported against Nahariya and admitted.
So yeah, that was pretty close. All right, pretty close. And it hit right there where it was already debris at. So that was pretty predictable. Hey, there's a big debris field behind me. There's active fighting happening right where I'm at. Maybe, just maybe, they'll hit right there again. Just maybe. Maybe they're not going to stop because I'm out here doing my report live from the war zone. Just maybe they won't stop. But anyway. Yeah, they got a warning. Of course they got a warning. That's right, Effie. They got a warning. And you can see where they at. It's already been bombed before. So it is what it is. Now, let's go to Cuba right quick. We have Olivia DiNucci of Code Pink going to Havana on a boat with some supplies to go to Cuba.
So we've set sail. You can see the waters behind us. A bunch of the aid underneath the boat, and then the solar panels on top. You can see here. And you can see this wonderful group of folks coming together to eat from a very humble kitchen, and then the sleeping quarters there. And we are expected to arrive in Havana in about 2 days.
All right, there we go. So 2 days, where are you sailing from? Like, what's going on? What kind of boat do you have? A little speedboat? Little just... Now, shout out to the Cuban people. Some romanticize communism. They romanticize what Cuba is like on the ground. But for the regular, everyday person in Cuba, life is no game. Let's watch. All right, there we go. So that is a day in the life in Cuba. Now, some say sanctions. Okay, is that what you think? Sanctions? Is that what's going on? Is that the reason why it looks like that? And again, if it's about sanctions, then what needs to happen is one or two things. We release the sanctions and let Russia have it, and then that's a danger right off of our coast, 90 miles away. Or we keep the sanctions, and then that makes them take us on as the benefactor rather than Russia, China. It's simple as that. They can't be in this little middle space because they have no ability to be independent and sovereign on their own. It's just as simple as that. All right, now, here is someone throwing their trash away in Havana. I guess it's a tourist. I'm not really sure, but check it out.
This is me throwing my trash away in Havana. So I don't know. Let's try. Scheiße. This is me throwing.
I mean, yeah, where's the trash pickup? Where's any kind of city services? Where's anything? Where's a functioning economy? Where is anything at? There's nothing really there. It's just garbage. It's looking like Africa, basically. It's looking like Africa, like some parts of Africa. Not all of Africa, obviously. Don't nobody get offended. Oh, not my country, ABL. But you know what I mean. The slum areas like Liberia, Monrovia, and the slums, it's like that. But should it be that way? It was not that way prior to now. Prior to communism, it wasn't that way. Now, here's a man living in Cuba talking about, okay, y'all want to blame Trump. Y'all want to blame sanctions. Y'all want to blame this. Y'all want to blame that. Well, here is my perspective as a guy living in Cuba. Check it out.
The Cuban electricity grid collapsed because of Donald Trump's policy against Cuba. This is one of the most popular comments I get on my videos when I speak about the overall situation in Cuba. Many people seem to blame the blockade or embargo against the island, and at the same time, they ignore everything happening internally. And you may have a positive or negative opinion about Trump, but it's up to you. But let's analyze a few facts. It's not because of Trump's policy that the life of a cow in Cuba is more valuable than the life of a woman. It is not because of him that $1 million are being invested in multi-millionaire hotels while schools are falling apart. It's not because of him that there are no free elections in the country. It is not because of him that Christian young men and women are being harassed and threatened just because they want a free Cuba. It's not because of him that a police officer shot a 15-year-old boy in a protest in Morong. It is not because of him that many people in Cuba feel dehumanized, excluded, and even endangered. Your fight may be against Trump. Mine is against my executioner. Bye.
There we go. So it's like, hey, I'm in Cuba. I know what's going on. I live here. This is what I face every day. Y'all want to blame Trump for this, Trump for that. Well, you can't blame Trump for everything. That's just not really what's going on. There's issues in Cuba. And the main thing is the embrace of communism. It never, ever works. It's always going to fail. And the excuses, well, we got sanctions and embargo and this and that. It's not going to change what's happening on the ground. It does not work. Socialism, communism, it's destined to end this way. It's destined to end this way. That's just what happens. So shout out to him. He was on point. What do y'all think? Y'all let me know. Cuba would most certainly be a red state. Cuba would just be Florida part 2. It'd be an extension to Florida, basically, because if you go to South Florida, it's already Cuba. Okay, go Miami, anywhere like Tampa, South, it's Cuba. Really, I say South Florida is a Caribbean. Haiti, Jamaica, Cuba, Puerto Rico, they're all right there in Florida. Okay, now, this is funny. We got Bill Maher talking to Anna Paulina about the situation in Cuba, and he makes a mistake here. He made a mistake. Let's watch.
I want to talk about Cuba. This must be important to you, right? That's where your family's from? You grew up
We're
here?
Mexican, not all the same, Bill.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Who's got jokes now?
Bad information, not my fault. Okay, but all right. But Cuba's in the news, and Trump's. I want to talk.
Yeah, so she's Hispanic. Yes, that's correct, but she's not Cuban, and it's okay. Y'all make mistakes, but let's get our facts right, bro. Let's get our facts right. Hey, you gonna have me on there talking about? Well, hey, good day, Mr. Logan. We got some issues going on with Nigeria. I heard you guys are all Nigerian. I am not from there. I am from America. I am an American citizen. Do not categorize me in that fashion. But nah. Hey, Bill, get your facts right, bro. Come on, tighten up. Tighten up, man. You got a big budget. Let's get it together. All right, let's keep rocking. And by the way, Anna Paulina Luna, she's the real deal. She's the real deal. I've met her before, and I just watch how she operates. She's the real deal. Trust and believe. Okay.
Cuban.
Here is Hassan Piker, a.k.a. Hassan Abi, the streamer, talking about Cuba as he's over there doing what, in my opinion, is a propaganda stream, a propaganda visit, like I show Sweden and China, allegedly. But anyway, let's watch.
Cubans, the fucking best people, okay? So kind, so welcoming, just the best, just the absolute best people. Oh, my Lord, okay? Not in Miami. Oh, dude, it's the reversal. Actually, literally, like the exact opposite. Like all the good Cubans stayed here, and most of the ones that are crazy just like flew up there. I swear to God. So March and I were about to discuss. We get into.
Okay, so you're saying all the good Cubans are in Cuba, and all the bad ones fled and went to Miami. First of all, your stream is not doing very well. You're in Cuba. Is there internet? How's internet down there? Kind of spotty, right? Oh, okay. You're realizing that you don't have an American infrastructure in Cuba. That's first thing. My second thing, how do you know that all the quote unquote bad people went to Miami and all the quote unquote good ones stayed in Cuba? Are you referring to the boat lift from what, 70s and the 80s? That's not the majority of all Cubans in Florida. You got really, really, really good people in South Florida who are Cuban descent. Marco Rubio, there's one right there. And I'm sure that if you ask people, the good Cubans you speak of, if you ask them, the majority would say they want to leave if they could. So don't do that. Don't try to make it be like if you left, you're a bad person. Nah. They left for a better life, for better opportunities, for greener pastures, rather than suffering in Cuba. All right, let's keep on going. So this is Cuba in the 1930s without communism, and here they are with communism. Okay, let's turn that sound down because it's just music. But at the top, of course, Cuba without communism. On the bottom, Cuba now with communism. Okay, you see the, well, they got like a little San Francisco type train car, nice vehicles. Not many cars on the road now. Okay, the police look like a nice and fed, got a nice uniform, nice haircut and everything. Looks nice, like a kind of like a European type vibe going on, mixed with like an American kind of vibe. Before communism, again, 1930s, before communism. And years later, you got trash on the ground. Not many cars that are actually able to be driven because it's hard to get any kind of imports. And there's no industry that which they build cars. And even if they could import, what's the economy? You're regressing. But this is the result of embracing communism, in my humble opinion. What do y'all think? Is it embracing communism, or is it because of the sanctions? Is it because of the United States? What do y'all think? Okay, so definitely a different time, much better back then. Much, much better back then. So I think maybe the solution for them, or a solution, would be to abandon this whole thing of communism, to abandon the failed policies of Russia, China, etc., and come on back to the West. Yeah, come on back to the West. Yeah, that could be New York's future. Somebody said that's New York in the future. That could be New York's future. They keep on. Hey, they got the commie in there, Zoran Mamdani, and they want to have this great class ratification. They want to tax the rich, which is really tax the middle class. You want to tax everybody out, so you have the uber rich and then the very poor with no in between. Okay, I'm misunderstanding. I'm misunderstanding Albert Negro. I'm misunderstanding. What am I misunderstanding? Anyway, speaking about taxes and money and whatnot, Washington State Democrats, because it's the same thing with Zoran. Zoran said, hey, we're going to tax the rich. But then it became, we're going to tax everybody, the middle class, the rich, the poor, everybody. Washington State said their tax was only going to, their new tax was only going to impact those making more than $1 million a year. But now there's going to be a tax on those making beyond $125,000. I thought it was 1 million. Nope, 125,000. And on the left coast, that is a middle class tax hike. All right, let's check it out. Let's check it out here.
Democrats are not stopping at a $1 million income tax. Next year, Representative Sean Scott of Washington plans to introduce legislation for a 5% tax on wages over $135,000. So they start at $1 million and then they go to $135,000 real fast. Democrats.
Of course, that's the way it is. That's the whole thing. And it'd be the same thing in a lot of these leftist places. We'll say we're going to tax $1 million, which ain't really that much. If you know, I mean, it is, but it's not. When you're talking about these really expensive areas, $1 million could put you in the middle class, depending on where you live. Los Angeles, something like that, yeah. So they put it at a number that sounds high to the average person, and then they lower it to the average person. So you're going to just squeeze the middle. The rich will flee. And if you are not rich, you'll be poor when they squeeze you. If you don't leave the area. That's the objective, in my humble opinion.
Top of
All right, let's keep going. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, I got something I wanted to show here. I'll give me 1 second, and I'm going to load her on up. Okay. Here we go. Let's do this. California. You got 40 million people, 14 million people, but their whole economy, the whole way they do things is being propped up by 200 men. 200 people. I presume 200 men. Let's watch.
California has 40 million people in it. Those 40 million people, 17.5 million pay taxes. Less than half. And the worst part is, if you take away 200 guys, the billionaires, 200 guys, if you take them out of the equation, we lose 47% of our revenue. California has.
Hey, 200, listen, out of 40 million people, if you take away 200 guys, that's half of the revenue gone, just like that. And already the majority of Californians don't pay income tax. So you really, you kind of on a tightrope right there. You on a tightrope. You on a tightrope at best. That, in my opinion, is unsustainable, and it's expensive in California as it is. If they got social programs and whatnot, I can't tell because it's very expensive to live. If you try to tax these guys more, you're going to convince them to leave. I know California is beautiful. It's a great place to live if you got $1 trillion, but maybe, just maybe, it's not worth it. Elon Musk left. A lot of big guys. Joe Rogan left. Then they're going to try to say, okay, we're going to tax you if you leave. Like, what's going on? Am I a prisoner? Can I not leave? Is this North Korea? Am I not permitted to? Hey, must I write Gavin a letter to ask if I can move? Is that what we're doing? I don't have freedom of movement. What's going on? All right, let's keep on going. Now, here is an example of what all those California taxes will pay. What did it get you? Okay, this is what you're going to get. A nice, big, underpass, homeless encampment. When I was in California recently, last year, it was shocking. It was shocking. You see stuff like this all the time. The craziest thing was the gutter was the trash in the gutter. Like in the Cuba video, when you saw some of the trash just like in the gutter, they had that in California. I'm like, nah. See, that right there is a sign of decay. You have all this money, supposedly, allegedly, all this wealth, all this beauty, but you got third world conditions in Los Angeles, California. Our nation's second biggest city has third world conditions in it. That's no good. All right, let's keep going here. Now, here is a TSA worker talking about, hey, do you guys see me? Meaning the Congress. Do you guys see me? And look, Congress, we got to get TSA back paid. You must get them paid, because if you don't have TSA, there's no actual travel. I'm not going, listen, I need to travel. I need to go out there and do a few things, but I'm not going anywhere until they fix this. I'm not going anywhere until they fix the TSA issue, because it's just, I'm not trying to be in the airport for hours and hours and hours. They're talking about, okay, for me, I drive from where I live at. It's 2 hours to go to Atlanta Hartsfield. I could fly from here, but it's not going to give me a direct flight. All they're going to do is just fly me to Atlanta or Charlotte. So I always drive to Hartsfield Jackson and take a direct from there. That's 2 hours right there just to get to the airport. And then they're talking about at least 3 hours to go through TSA. It's just too much. It's too much. It's too long. It's excessive. I'll wait until they can fund DHS again. And the whole fight is about ICE. Oh, because Alex, Nicole, Good, and Rachel, whatever. I don't care what their names are. Alex, Nicole, Rachel, Pretty, whatever. The two idiots that got themselves deleted by ICE and Border Patrol because they were trying to fight him. One guy had a gun and tried to shoot it. Okay. Since they're dead, now we're going to just hold all the traffic. The dumbest human beings I've ever seen in my life. It's like, what's the purpose? If the objective is to make us hate Democrats, and congratulations, you're going to succeed in that effort. But you're trying to reform ICE for what? I don't think ICE needs reforming. I think that the humans who did what they did to get put on ICE permanently, they need reforming, not ICE. All right, let's watch this, though. And RIP to Rachel Nicole, Alex Pretty Good, whatever their names are. All right, let's get a little bit of sound. That might help. And let's start from the top.
It does not feel great to know that you're doing your job, you're getting paid, and I am not.
Did you know that while members of Congress are still getting paid, TSA officers are not? I can't help but notice that we are at Reagan National Airport, which is a very unique airport in that it is the airport that most members of Congress use.
This is true.
Can you tell me what it's like seeing members of Congress pass through your security lanes? They are paid. It's up to them on both sides of the aisle to get you paid. Can you tell me what it's like to see them pass by?
It's one of those things where you realize, like, you're coming through and I want to ask you questions and I want to have that conversation with you, but it's not the time for it. But it's like, do you see me? Do you see that I'm showing up every day? Do you see that I'm doing the work, that I'm putting in the effort, and there's still no change for me? It does not feel great.
There we go. So shout out to her coming to work while not getting paid. Okay, doing their job, being an American citizen, being productive in this country. But we got people trying to hold the government hostage because somebody did not want to be productive. Somebody wanted to be counterproductive, wanted to be an anarchist, and got themselves flatlined, put in the dirt, put on ice permanently. Oh well. They should have been more like her. What if Rachel Nicole Good had a TSA job and was not out there with her bulldagger girlfriend? Drive, baby. What if she was at work? What if Alex Pretty was at work rather than being out there causing a ruckus with his gun? With no, he ain't had no protest. I'm like, he a protester. How you a protest with no sign? You out there just like as a vigilante. You like the Punisher out there trying to just find something. You're trying to find somebody to beat up. Or in this case, you got yourself beat up, but whatever. If they were just productive rather than doing that, then we would not be here right now and everything would be just fine, in my humble opinion. Now, Elon says that he may, or he's offering to pay TSA workers' salaries. At Elon, if you're able to do that, bro, they must give you the Nobel Peace Prize. They got to give it to you because you took Twitter and created free speech. You might have paved the way for Trump to get elected in 2024 because of what you did with Twitter and the money you put into it. And now you're going to pay for the TSA workers. You're going to bypass the government and just look out like that. Hey, man, that could be a thing that he does. But if he does it, then that could be abused because the next time they get shut down, okay, let Elon pay it. But anyway, and also, Elon is probably the most taxed human being ever to exist in the world. So his money would go toward this anyway. But let's watch.
Atrium, and this is as far as we've seen the lines go this morning, but take a look at this side. Those people, this is like a secondary holding area where people are waiting. This is not the main checkpoint yet. And so what they do here is they ask people to wait. They make two separate lines. And so you see the people waiting here. I just wanted to give our viewers from other parts of the nation an idea of how long you have to walk before you actually get to the main checkpoint area. You see it there. And one of the things that I was noticing, Victor, is that out of 18 possible windows that can be open, this morning only 8 are open, which tells you a lot about the staffing situation that TSA is going through. Now, I was talking a moment ago with a family from here that I was flying to Denver. They told me they got here at 2 in the morning. I was hoping to talk to them live, but they just made it into this general area. That's the main checkpoint area. In previous days, we had seen that the monitors here, like that one right there behind me, they were showing wait times. They're off for some reason this morning.
Yeah, they're off because there's no point showing the wait times. Like, you know it's going to be a long time. And by the way, this is Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson Airport, if you didn't know.
Morning, so people are hoping and praying that they can make their flights, but the reality is that nobody really knows. Now, this is only general boarding. On the other side of the airport, the north side, you see people in wheelchairs making a very long line, and then on the south side, you see people waiting who are pre-checked. So it's a combination of different lines. The line that I was showing you a moment ago, this one right here in front of me, that's only one side, because as you can see on this other side, there's another line that is just as long, Victor.
Oh, my Lord.
Of people waiting. Take a look at that. A lot of those people trying to make flights at 8, 9 in the morning may or may not make them.
I mean, listen, once you get everything cleared up, let me know. Give me an alert. Give me a bulletin. Right when they fund the government and fund TSA, finally pay them, and they need to get back pay and they need to get a bonus. Now, there was a bonus last time when they did this, of like $10,000, but it was strict eligibility requirements. I was reading one of my comments and somebody said that they could not get the bonus because they had taken vacation like 10 months earlier or something crazy like that. I don't know what it is, but the requirements need not be stringent. The requirement should be, if you show up to work for X amount of time during the shutdown, you should get the bonus, period. That's what it should be, because this is crazy. So yeah, I'm not doing no traveling until they get it tightened up. All righty. Now,
You're not.
this right here was great. This is going to be, hold on. This ain't the one I wanted. This is going to be Caleb Hammer. Give me a second to load it up. And he has a great show, by the way, the Financial Talk. Let me just pull this up right quick. Here we go. Now, most people, the average normie, it's scary how much they don't know about the way the country works financially. They don't understand the way money works. They have no idea how we work as a nation. And Caleb was racking his brain trying to explain it. I'm not quite sure she got it. Let's watch.
Not patriotic?
With blue hair, you think I'm patriotic?
You can still be patriotic and be wrong about
Why
economics.
would I be patriotic when we're spending more money on bombs than we are for like social justice or like social programs?
We spend 50% of the federal spending on social programs.
Like what?
Social programs, Medicare, Medicaid, mandatory spending, SNAP benefits, veteran benefits.
You mean SNAP benefits that people just got taken away from them?
You think everyone just got taken off SNAP?
Most people
Everyone.
did.
You think the majority just got taken off SNAP?
Yes.
Our military spending is 10 to 20%.
And that's
the bombs you're freaking out about, 10 to 20%. It's egregious. We spend 50% on social programs.
I'm a military kid, and I can tell you that shit is not needed.
Girl, you literally just got the information that you were just wrong, and yet you're still doubling down. We don't spend the majority on bombs.
Okay, maybe it's not the majority, but it's well
it's not
too
even
much.
close to the majority. It's not even a quarter.
It's far too much.
Okay, you could advocate for that, but that all of a sudden doesn't mean, you just said we don't spend anything on social. That's where like more than half of our money goes. Like, what are you talking about?
I think it needs to be more
as
into
usual,
social
you're
programs.
uninformed about everything.
I think it needs to be more
and
into
then you're
social
just not
programs.
patriotic. What do you mean? We spend more than like anyone. Well, number-wise, absolutely.
Yeah, well, technically.
By technicality.
Like per capita.
By money, by per capita, by yes. We do a lot. We're a very progressive nation. We have the most progressive income tax in the entire Western world.
Okay.
Oh boy. I love when people have no idea what they do. And then they're just not patriotic. It's like, dude, you're literally not a contributor. You should be the most patriotic person. You contribute nothing.
I mean,
you contribute literally nothing. You've only been a taker. And yet you're the one that doesn't like the country?
I would
then the
leave
one
if
that
I
gives
could.
everything is the one that likes it?
I would
Leave for
leave if I could.
where?
Anywhere. I used to live in Germany. I'd rather
Grass
live
is
there.
always greener. What would you be doing in Germany?
I could still be an artist there.
Yeah, you think Germans just immediately, they're like, oh, you want to be an artist? Let's give you $80,000
Well,
a
I
year.
know that they're not going to give me $80,000 a year for
What do
being
you
an
think
artist.
would all of a sudden happen?
I think if I was able to do my art full time, I'd be able to make the money I need to make.
Yeah, Germans trying to pursue art and failure. That always goes over well.
All right, well, yeah.
That was a pretty good one.
Okay, now look, shout out to Caleb Hammer. That was a great one. That was great. But yeah, it's like, okay, when people say they don't get enough over in the United States, not enough social programs, this, that, and the third, when they go to other places wanting the same thing, expecting that from those countries, they're not going to get it. Hey, go over there. And first of all, do you speak German? You were on a military base as a kid, but if you go to Berlin, do you speak German? Like, what's going on? What are you going to actually do over there? How are you going to make money? People from all over the world come to the USA because they know this is the best place for them to make money. Out of anywhere in the world is right here. Now, you're going to have some that come here to just mooch off of us. We don't want those. We want those that come here and actually work and do things and produce things. The same way that Germany does not want a moocher, a welfare recipient, a hopeful welfare recipient. They don't want that. They want you to go over there and actually do something. So yeah, good luck finding a place better than the United States. As a matter of fact, if you want to go to Germany, go ahead. Okay, you're gonna be eating all kind of bratwurst, all lederhosen, beer, bratwurst. Enjoy. Shout out to the Germans. Okay, if you're here, shout out to you. Guten Tag and all that good stuff. But I think if we're being honest, the Germans know and we know that we're the best in the USA. So there we go. Shout out Kayla Hammer again. Great show.
And what do you?
And here's one more for that same show, that same interview, because it was the girl with the hair, the crazy neon hair, and then her boyfriend or husband or whatever was in the military for a very short period of time, like a year or two in the reserves. And he has been able to get benefits from that time in service. Let's check it out.
And what do you? What's your net?
My net is, so I just started this job, so I'm still like seeing what it is after taxes, but I think my net is around $5,800 a month. And then I also get disability from the VA.
Why do you get disability? You were in the military?
I was in the Navy for 2 years.
What'd you do?
Okay, he went to school and the Navy paid for it and then he got out medically.
I was Naval Reserve and then...
And what's your disability? Other than your hairline?
Depression and anxiety.
What's the net again? 5,500?
$5,800 for the salary. And then the money that I get from the VA is around like $2,070.
And what do you? What's your net?
My net is...
So, okay. Now, did you hear that? He has a job. He gets about $5,800 a month. Okay, that's his job. He was in the reserves, in Navy reserves, to go to school. He gets out because he has anxiety, and he's able to get $2,000 a month from the VA because of that. Now, what's your opinion about this? Okay. So military guys, military girls, military families, everybody, if you're not military, whatever, what's your opinion about that? Is it okay? Is it legal to do that? Okay. You're in the reserve, they pay for your school, and you back, okay, now all of a sudden when I'm done with school, now I got anxiety, I got to get out. Okay, but when you were in school, did your anxiety flare up? I'm just trying to understand how that really worked, you know? So convenient that you're able to go to school and then get out with anxiety and now you get a payment. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to figure it out. What do y'all think? Is that okay? Is not okay? Y'all let me know. But it's a lot of that going on. And shout out to my veterans who actually need services. Shout out to my veterans that need it. I know a lot of you guys exist. Shout out to you guys who actually need the services. But there are some people who scam the system. And the chief offenders, in my opinion, are the transgenders. And now, I thank God, I think is that over with now, the Transformers? Because what they would do is go into the military just to get a free sex change. Well, it's not free. They don't pay for it, but the taxpayer does. So stuff like that, we can't be having in the military. Now, if you get out and you get injured or it's like it's a legitimate thing, I get it. But if you go there with the intention to just scam the system, that's when I got a problem. So y'all let me know. Okay. Let me see. I'm seeing we got a hater in the house. TLG. I'm talking to you, sir. TLG says, why you up on this guy's pockets? Well, the name of the show is called Financial Audit. So that's the whole point of the show, to be in the guy's pockets. That's first of all, to answer your question. But second part, we need a status report of all major MAGA failures. Did you guys talk about the drone incursion yet? Okay, what do you mean status report of major MAGA failures? What's that mean? I don't understand. So are you saying that if you are a MAGA person not doing well, you should go on this show? Is that what you're saying? Okay, well, tell Caleb that. I'm reacting to the show he has. His show, if you don't know, Caleb Hammer, is called Financial Audit. People volunteer to go on the show to fix their financial situation, so they have to disclose what they got going on, what they do for work, how much they make, how much debt they have, their expenses. That's the whole point of the show. Anyway, now, AOC has spent $19,000 on a psychiatrist known for ketamine therapy. Now, do you guys think that she's on ketamine or something like this? And what would a $19,000 be for? Is that a lot of money? A little bit of money? I got a stat. Speaking about mental health and stuff like this, I read that 28% of women under 45, between 18 and 45, are on some kind of prescription med. And that same age group for men is 13%. So 13% of men, 28% of women are on some kind of prescription medication, a lot of head meds. So you're talking about almost 1 out of every 3 women in the country. That's a little high. That's a little high. Okay, I ain't gonna lie to you now. And if you're young like that, especially, you shouldn't be on a bunch of pills and medications. That's like old lady stuff. You know, my grandma would have them little pill things where you got, you know, all the pills separated about a week you got to take in there. Yeah, but, you know, you 70-something, 80-something years old, I understand. But you in your 20s and 30s doing that, and there's like not a real big problem, then you might want to, you know, do something else. In my humble opinion, don't rely upon the pills if you can avoid it. Okay, now mental health. Speaking about mental health, okay, we got a Hamas supporter, and this is happening a lot in the West. Okay, somebody who is kind of unstable mentally can be brainwashed, taken advantage of. And before you know it, it's talking about some Allahu Akbar. They got on a terrorist scarf, and their eyes are like as big as dinner plates. Let's watch.
I'm not right? Does your question screaming mean that you shut the hell up? Shut the hell up! Really? Want to act calm? Want to act calm? Want to act calm? It's not time to be calm right now. You murder children and you support the murder of children. I haven't murdered children. Yeah, you do. You support them. You murder. Yeah, you do. You would. If my child was here, you would want to murder her. Are you supporting the rape of women? They weren't raped. That's a lie. We established it was a lie. We saw what the Israeli soldiers did to the women. We saw what the Israeli soldiers did to the women.
So the argument here is about the October 7 attacks in Israel, and there were reports that the Hamas soldiers assaulted the women sexually, okay? And that's what they're arguing about here. She's saying, no, it didn't happen or whatever, okay? But I tell you what, if I seen that person talking at me, I ain't even gonna waste my time, because I know they're not playing with a full deck. They got a few cards missing. They got a few cards in the couch cushion, and we can't find them. Where's the ace of spade and the 7 of diamonds? I don't know where it's at. It's somewhere. But wherever they at, she don't got them. Anyway, let's keep on moving. Let's keep rocking and rolling. Now, we got another one. This is Kyla Walsh. Now, if I know who that is, you'll let me know, but I don't know. Now, you could have been anywhere. You could have been in Amish country, churning butter. You could have been raising chickens and cows. But yeah, you're talking about Allahu Akbar and stuff like this. Oh, okay.
Glory to all the martyrs, glory to the axis of resistance. May we see victory within our lifetimes. Margabar America, Margabar Israel.
Thank you, Kala.
Glory.
Okay, Kyla, you could have done anything in your life. You could have been, again, on a farm, raising chickens and cows, and just been living the regular normal life. But yet here you are talking about death to Israel, death to America, things of this nature. And you know what? It's not all people who look just like that. You got regular normies that dress just like me talking about Israel's a problem, America's a problem. It's the same thing in my humble opinion. It's like, Spider-Man meme. That's all. Anyway, let's keep rocking. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. So, did you guys see this that I put out about Zohran Mamdani's wife? What do y'all think? So, this is what happened with Zohran Mamdani's wife. And her name is not even really important because she's not a public figure, as he has said on numerous occasions. But she is 28 years old. He's 34 years old. They're young people. And they were digging up tweets from when she was like in high school, age 15, back in 2013. She said the N-word in the tweet. And it wasn't even like, it was like something that you would say at 15. Some stupid thing. It wasn't, I didn't get offended. I was just like, okay, she's 15. It's just like if you have a little kid that says something crazy, why would you get offended? It's a child. They don't really know no better. Same thing with her. Even in her age right now, whatever she says, I'm not paying any attention to. I see a person like that as still a child mentally. So whatever she says, I pay no attention to because she's not in office. Now, if she was in office or if she had some kind of role in the administration, that's different because now you put yourself out there. Okay, now we got to figure out what's happening. I don't want a person who has these negative things to say about the whole Israel issue and you supporting the terrorists. If you're doing that and in office, we got a problem. But if you just basically an annoying girl at a party, it doesn't really matter what you say. Who cares? Who cares what you say? It doesn't matter at all. But there was an issue because some tweets came out. And right when that story broke, her Twitter account was immediately deleted. Immediately. And you know what? I know Zohran was mad. Like, really? Come on, Roma. I think that's her name. Roma, whatever. Come on. What are you doing? What he should do is say, hey, you know what? Don't be on social media. Stay off your phone. But try telling a 28-year-old woman, try telling a 28-year-old that, hey, you're 28-year-old woman and you got money and you got some attention. Try telling her to stay off her phone. Good luck with that. You will pry her Instagram from her cold dead hands. No threat. No threat. But you will pry that Instagram from her cold dead hands. They ain't gonna let that go. So if I'm Zohran, I hope that my silly wife does not do this again. All right. That's pretty much that on that. That is that on that. But you know what? That is much better than what Bill de Blasio's wife did, allegedly. Remember the $1 billion she lost? And if you don't remember, hold on. I'm going to pull it up right quick. Bill de Blasio wife. So, yeah. This is New York Times, 2019. Put it on the screen for you right quick. So, Charlene McCray, de Blasio's wife, is questioned over his revolutionary $1 billion mental health plan. Now, these monies were allocated, and it kind of just vanished. Hey, where'd the money go? I don't know. I have no idea. And the actual tally of cash they lost was 1.8 billion with a B. Hold on, pardon me. 1.8 billion with a B. And I got an article for that too. Hold on right quick. I got an article for that too. Let me pull it up right quick. So there we go. So here we go. De Blasio and co-mayor wife have wasted $1.8 billion of taxpayer money. Now look, Zohran, your silly wife can continue to be silly and goofy on Instagram all she wants, but please, 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 for the sake of your constituents in New York City, do not allow her to do what Charlene did, which was to get involved with government, because all they're going to do is just steal money, lose it. Oopsies, sorry. And now you got a problem. Anyway, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right, let's get forward. Now, this is Democrat candidate running for California District 11. Okay. This is not AI. This is a real video. Already we're seeing big giant transformer. Why they gotta be so big? These dudes looking like it's like back in the 80s, they would have been wrestlers. And now they just drag queens. Like, what's going on? You're looking like Ricky Steamboat or something like this with a dress and the wig on. But anyway, let's watch this. Not AI, for real.
Officially endorsing Choikat Chakrabarti for Congress. We need a disruptor. We need someone who's not a politician. I hope I don't offend you by saying that.
No, that is a compliment.
So Choikat, I've endorsed you. You've got my support. Officially.
Okay, now I thought it was him running. I thought it was a big, I thought it was this big 6'8", clown, whatever, running. But it's the Indian dude. Bro, your parents are heated right now. I can't do my Indian act. How could you do this to us? How could you do, they're mad at you right now, bro. But anyway, as California, I guess you got to get one of these big 6'8" drag queens to endorse you to get to succeed. That's kind of what happens.
Okay.
All right, let's keep on going. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay. Now, where we at here? Oh, I wanted to talk about the Houston rodeo. Oh man, the Houston rodeo. So they had to put a dress code in because some people did not know how to dress at the rodeo. Now the rodeo is family friendly. You shouldn't be showing up dressing crazy. You should dress like a rodeo. Okay. Wear your jeans and your cowboy boots and your hat and stuff like this. I shouldn't be seeing BBL, all kind of extra stuff, chest out. I shouldn't be seeing that. Like I said, I saw that when I went to the Botanical Garden in Atlanta. I saw that, and it wasn't a black person, although I see some black people weren't looking crazy too. It was a white lady, like I said in my video. This lady had to have been all of 400 pounds. Easy 400 pounds and about 5'6". She wasn't super short, but she wasn't. She was kind of tall. I was trying to not look at her directly because I wasn't trying to see that, and I was not trying to have my eyes linked to her, and then somebody think that I'm interested because I'm not. I'm a tall black guy, but I'm not into a 500-pound white woman. But anyway, she was a clear like 5'50" and 5'8". She on this sheer like light blue shirt. You could see straight through it. There was no brassiere. No, nothing. I saw everything. It was like, what in the world's going on here? We're at a park. We're at the Botanical Garden, lady. There's children. There's little kids. There's whole families here. Why are you wearing that? Some people have no class and no understanding of how to dress appropriately. If you want to wear that in the privacy of your own home or in a nightclub at 3 o'clock in the morning, knock yourself out. But lady, it's the afternoon. It's broad daylight. We're at a park outside. Okay. Why are you wearing that? They were doing the same exact thing at the Houston rodeo. Also, some of y'all are freaky. In the video I put up today about the Houston rodeo, some of y'all were like, ABL, where's the pictures of the girls? Excuse me? Like, do you know where you at? Like, I know you might be on your computer. You got many tabs open. You don't know where you at. This is YouTube.com. I cannot put up nothing like that. And nobody ever put up no butt cheeks on my YouTube video. I'm not gonna do that. But anyway, so you guys asking for that, y'all need some help. Find Jesus or something else. Don't be on my channel asking for no naked pictures. This ain't that over here. Anyway, let's watch this.
I just want to say it is a damn shame that the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo has to close the carnival early. This is why we can't have nothing nice. Why can't you just go somewhere and act right? It's very simple. This goes back to my earlier video from a while back. People just don't give a shit these days about literally anything. There's kids there. There's families at the carnival. Now you ruined it for everybody. Good job. I just want to say it is.
Exactly. That's crazy because listen, I understand people want to dress how they want to dress, but you have to, it's time, place for everything. It's a time and a place for everything. You want to be revealing, you want to be all this and that, okay. Don't do that right here. In Atlanta, especially, there's plenty of places for your debaucherous behavior. You don't have to do it everywhere. I mean, good grief. If I go to a McDonald's, maybe don't look crazy in there. I'd rather you put on pajamas, SpongeBob SquarePants, sweatpants, rather than scantily clad. I don't want to see that. And the afternoon on a Sunday at Piedmont Park, I don't want to see that. But I'm glad they put a dress code in for the rodeo, because some people have no idea how to dress, no idea how to behave. And I blame TV, I blame social media, because they see things through these media that make it look like it's normal to dress however you want, wear whatever you want, but it's not normal. Once you actually go outside and be around real people, it's not okay to do stuff like that. People are offended, and you must dress for others in society. It's not just you living in society by yourself. Anyway, Margin Walker says, chassless apps. Yes. I know what you were saying right there, and you said it perfectly. Yes, that kind of stuff, like Prince on stage with his hind parts out. They were doing that at the rodeo. It's like a carnival, family-friendly environment. Now, speaking about going to a place and you're not really quite fitting in to where you are, this is a mall in Virginia. Now, when I was in Virginia recently, I saw some stuff similar to this. I'm like, oh man, things are kind of changing. The demographics look different, look way different than when I was a young kid. And my question is, okay, what will the future look like of this nation? If the original people who were here, meaning black and white, shout out to the natives if you're watching, but if the black and white folks are pushed to the back, who will be the future of this nation? My question is, where am I? This mall is in Virginia. I'm thinking Northern Virginia. That's what it looks like. But I'm hearing Arabic and Somali, and I'm seeing a little bit of everybody. I'm seeing very few whites and very few blacks. You may see some dark-skinned people, but they're not black. Okay, the security guard, he black. But, okay, like a guy like this, that's like some type of, Mahmoud Khalil looking character. You see in hijabs and stuff like this. Where am I at, really? Is it a mosque? Is it a temple? Or a mall in Woodbridge, Virginia? Springfield, Virginia. Okay, we got one black guy. Might be African, but one black guy. Somalis. Okay, there we go. So like right there, she's not black. She's Somali. It's a difference. That's an Eastern African person. Calling her black is like calling the Indian person black. It's like calling Mindy Kaling black. They're not black. They are East African, which is like the same thing as an Indian, a South Indian. Where do we go from here? What happens to us in the future? If they come speaking their language, having their culture, doing their own thing for themselves, what will that mean for this whole nation? Are we going to be more leaning toward Islam? That kind of culture, would that be prevalent? Like the Somalis in Minnesota, they don't change their culture. There's no assimilation. They still speak their language. They still dress how they want to dress. They still do their thing. So where does that leave us in the end? All right, let's keep on going. Let's keep on rocking. Now, speaking about culture and tradition and whatnot, here's a question about that on CNN. Okay, let's watch. And RIP in advance to the headphone users.
Moments like this, the president is not tying us together to accomplish the goal he thinks is important.
Wait, hold on. You're mad at Marco Rubio for saying that culture, heritage, whatever ties us together, ties us together. if not those things, what does tie people together? But put that aside. I do
Ideology,
agree.
a belief in freedom, a belief that we have a country that's not rooted in soil or blood. It's a country that's rooted in the fact that we all have the same values and we want to have a place where we can all prosper and aspire together. That's what ties us together.
I reject the proposition that America is just a propositional nation. But to go back to Abby's entire,
So what is it then?
entire argument.
What is it then if it's not a nation rooted in values and ideas and commitment?
Have you ever read Federalist Paper number 2 by John Jay?
Tell me what you think it is.
Sure. Federalist Paper number 2 by John Jay says that we are blessed by Providence to be a people connected by our culture, our language, our religion.
So
that's not to say
people,
that's
so what
not,
happens to
let me
people
finish.
who don't share your
That's not-
culture, your language, or your religion?
That's not to say that there aren't other people who could come from a different culture and assimilate to ours. But the thing is that assimilation. But to go back to Abby's entire point
By
now
force?
about media.
Or by...
Have we ever done by force?
Sure. Slavery.
That's
Indian,
not
Native
assimilating.
Americans.
Our slavery was an awful, awful chapter, but that's not a force them to assimilate. That was enslaving them just for.
Well, I
their own
think that that's
benefit.
kind of the
we
point.
removed
is that,
religion, we
is
changed
that
our
there's a
names.
whole there's a whole large portion of
Slavery is not part of assimilation as a society because slaves were kept separate. Assimilation is we're all together. It's not the same thing. But of course, you want to go to that whole thing. Assimilation means as Americans, as free people, we have in general a common culture, a common language. If you come here and don't learn English, you do whatever you want to do. Like, for example, I think most people in this country, most Americans understand how to drive on the road. When you got these truck drivers that do U-turns in the center of the road and cause accidents, that's against our culture. We don't do stuff like that. Driving on the wrong side of the road, U-turns with a truck on the road, all kind of stuff. Just things that we don't do here. Things that are uncommon here, others do commonly. When you do that continuously here, that is not assimilating. That is not becoming part of our culture. So that is what we're talking about. Like, don't be cute, bring up slavery, stuff like that. Talk about things that actually make sense. But I digress. Let her finish.
Americans who were here from the very beginning.
Hold on. Let me start from this part here. There we go.
Well, I think that's kind of the
we
point.
removed religion, we changed our
there's
names.
There's a whole large portion of Americans who were here from the very beginning, who didn't come from European culture. When they came here, did not speak European languages.
Sure, but European culture and
so at actually the very onset of this country, despite what the Federalist Papers, which didn't even consider the fact that Black Americans were Americans. That is, I think, a fact that you have to take into consideration.
You're repeating what he said, but the point is clear that slavery is not what we're talking about, because people that were enslaved were not part of society. Americans in 2026, we're all part of society, unless you're in the penitentiary or something like that. But even still, that's a thing. We're talking about free Americans. Slavery's over with. When you come here, do what we typically do as Americans. English, learn English. If I go to Spain, if I go to Germany, I would think that I learn their language after a while. I mean, English is pretty wide spoken. I can get accommodated, but it'd make more sense to learn their language. Like, I can get accommodated here. You know what they say, press 2 for Spanish I can get accommodated here, but it makes more sense to learn the language and become part of society and contribute to it in a positive way, rather than bringing my ways and refusing to adopt to what the culture is in the place that I come. And you know what? That goes beyond just a country to country thing. It's also a state to state thing. Californians. And if you're watching, I love you if you're here, but you know what I'm talking about. I don't want these liberal Californians leaving Los Angeles, San Fran, wherever you're coming from, San Diego, and coming here to Tennessee to do the exact same thing they did in California. The very thing that ruined California, they want to do that here. We have a culture here. We have a system here that works pretty well. We have our laws here. When you want to come here and change things and do things your California way, that will ruin the state. It's a parasite. You go from state to state destroying things. But if you just assimilated and did what we did, then you wouldn't be a parasite destroying things. So yeah, shout out to CNN for missing the point. And if you got the point, shout out to you. Now I got another clip right here. Speaking about Tennessee, And speaking about outsiders coming in, Californians coming in, this woman says that the cost of living in Appalachia is getting high. Buying a home in East Tennessee is difficult because a lot of outsiders come in with their money and they raise the price up. Let's watch this. And let's let her roll. Here we go.
I don't think people realize how ridiculously unaffordable Appalachia is becoming, specifically East Tennessee. I've been trying to find a house for years now. I kept saying in my head, the pricing has to get better. No way that people in this town are making enough money to sustain this. And it hasn't got better. It's only gotten worse. I went to tour a couple houses today and I was talking to my realtor, and she works in this area, obviously. She has so many clients whose budget caps out at $140,000, $150,000. I believe last time I checked, the median household income here is around $50,000. The current median listing price in my area is over $300,000. To put that into perspective, that means most of the county, the people that were born and raised here, cannot afford to buy a place here. We have entire neighborhoods that are basically designed and built for Airbnb purposes. We need starter homes that do not have the floors falling in, that are under $200,000, and we don't have it anymore. No hate to anybody that wants to move to Appalachia, wants to move to East Tennessee. I get why you want to, but I beg of you, before you move somewhere, think about the impact that you might have on that area. Because all these real estate agents, when they go to comp these houses, they see this house sold for $300,000. Well, yeah, it's sold for $300,000 probably because some person came from out of town that could afford that. So that drives up all of the home prices. Just think, y'all. Think before you move. If you're going to move to Appalachia, buy a reasonable home for a reasonable price. And so we might have a chance to get a home one day.
All right, there we go. So you know what? I think what should happen is this. There should be builders who build for you guys. Because I understand what it is. Like, you probably out there by like Knox County or something. We're talking about Airbnb. So a lot of your Dollywood, Gatlinburg people, Smoky Mountains, up in that area. And that area is typically like low income. So I understand what you're saying. But it's hard to be low income and also have the amenities of a high income person. So a good middle ground for me would be, you might need to get that house. I got the floor falling in, and get one of your uncles, your cousins, or somebody to come through, fix it up. Get a crew of guys to come fix it up. That'd be my solution. Or you guys could find some land somewhere nearby and just build a community of affordable housing, like tiny houses. That's what I want to do eventually, really. In Appalachia, I'm in Appalachia right now. I'm in East Tennessee too. I'm in Chattanooga. You probably in Knox County. What I want to do eventually is get some land and build tiny houses on it. A house for myself, and I might rent some other ones out, and maybe like a big house, like a meeting place or something like that eventually. But yeah, I don't need much space. People want these amenities, like they want 4-bed, 3-bed. You might not need all that. A lot of us grew up in the house that had 1 bathroom, and there might have been 10 adults in the house. Not 10, it's 10 adults. It might have been 10 kids in the house, 2 adults in the house with 1 bathroom in Appalachia. You see what I'm saying? So you might need to go back to what your mama and them did in the past to succeed right now, rather than doing what the Californians do now to live in a more modern way. You see, living in the past and doing things like they did back then would be more affordable. What do y'all think? You think that that's going to be a good solution? Smaller homes, homes that, fixer-uppers, you go in there. Because, again, your grandma's house was not a McMansion. Your grandma's house might have been 1,000 square foot at best. You had a bunch of kids and grandkids and everything raised in one house with 1 bathroom. And for real, in Appalachia, a lot of y'all didn't even have the indoor plumbing until like the 70s or 80s. Maybe even still don't have indoor plumbing. So you got to think about it from that perspective. If you're going to be having that same level of income, that is only going to be able to afford you certain things. All the creature comforts and modern amenities come with a higher level of income, which the Californians have, and people that, have money from whatever they're doing in Appalachia, they have those things. So there we go. All right, you saw the same way? Hey, For me, a good house is 1,000 square foot. That's really quite big enough, and you can raise a family in that house. 1,000 square foot with one bathroom would actually be enough. I mean, having your own bathroom in your room, that's something new. I had that when I was maybe 14. We had that, like my own bathroom. For the longest time, it was one bathroom in any house I lived in. In any house, it was one bathroom. So to have 3 baths, a half bath to me was a new concept when I was like a teenager. But kids nowadays, they grow up with a bunch of, they got their own room with their own bathroom. That's something that's kind of new. But anyway, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That helps tremendously. Okay. I got one more video, and then I'm going to get to the calls. Now look, shout out to the bitbacks. Hey, you know what? And stop stealing, okay? My man right here thought he was going to be slick. You're not slick, bro. Sir. All of that. What you could have done, rather than stealing the DoorDash from this lady's front door and run up them stairs, is just run up the stairs without the food. That would have been better. Matter of fact, do that little jog up the stairs a few times. Every day do it a few times. And don't steal the DoorDash order, and you won't be looking like you bought 800 pounds right now. Like, I could tell by him right here. That's at least 350. Bare minimum, 350. What do y'all think? What's the over under? 325, 375. Hey, you got a little bit of athleticism in you, little pep in your step. Okay. All you got to do is take that same journey up and down them steps a few more times, and all of that right there, all that junk in the trunk will be off of your body ASAP. Okay, I got one more. I'm sorry. All right, so look. These robots in China already showing us if they decide to just rebel against us, if they say, you know what, we've had it, enough's enough, what will you do to stop them? Check it out. And RIP to the headphone users, my lord. RIP. Let's start from the top, shall we? Okay, so the dancing robot is out of control. The staff can't turn it off, but these robots are heavy. It's a lot going on. You can see it's like breaking stuff, throwing stuff all over the place. What happens when that robot decides to just do some grounded pound? Hey, you got an MMA robot, something like that, grounded pound. Now you out of luck. Hey, we are, you know what's happening right now? With all these, Waymos and whatnot. We are being beta tested. We're being beta tested for the robot future. Okay, that's what's happening right now. Now, okay, I got one more. I know I said one more. I do have one more because I just thought about that. The whole beta test thing. I got a Waymo video. I'm gonna show Waymo. I'm gonna show these Waymo videos every day because I just can't. If you enjoy Waymos, shout out to you. But I can't do nothing with it. Do I have it or not? If I don't have it, then it is what it is. Move on to the calls. I don't think I have it. Do I not have that? Where is that? Oh, there you go, right there. Okay. All right, so this is going to be in Houston, Texas. You got a rogue Waymo just doing whatever it wants on the road. And my question with all these Waymo videos that I show is, who is going to be held accountable? If I do that kind of maneuver on the road, I'm getting pulled over, I'm getting a ticket, I might get locked up. They might impound my car. But with Waymo, what happens? You just let them do whatever they want to do because they're not a human being in the vehicle. Rather, it's Poncho over in Quezon City, Philippines, driving it remotely. He got a controller. He like this. he like this driving your car like this. Oh, I crashed. I sorry. What happens to him? Nothing. Anyway, let's keep going.
Watch a wild Waymo trying to weave through traffic on the HOV lane in downtown Houston.
Nobody knew what it was going to do. That was the scary part.
Waymo traffic troubles over in 5th Ward 2, solely stacked near the railroad tracks on Gregg Street.
Ain't nobody in the car. You blowing at it. It's just standing there. I'm very frustrated.
The Waymo railroad ruckus also happening in Austin. A close call as a self-driving car stopped on the train tracks.
Now I did see the Tesla that had the problem that like hit the wall on the bridge, Jersey wall on the bridge. I saw that, but they said that what happened was the car was driving in FSD full self drive mode, but they disengaged FSD right before the accident happened. So it looks like they did it on purpose. They disengaged it so it would crash to make it look like the FSD failed. That's what I read, but I'm not quite sure about that. I'm gonna do some research on it. To see exactly what's going on. Anyway, let's keep on going. Let's get to some calls here. The number to call is, I think my headphones still. The number to call is 706-406-3287. Again, the number to call is 706-406-3287 is the number to call. I got super chats on. I can read those right quick. Thank you to, where we at? Thank you to, let's refresh right quick, shall we? Because I don't have any that loaded up. But we'll get to the calls in just one moment. Y'all hang tight. And the number to call, 706-406-3287. 706-406-3287. Okay. Super chats first. Thank you to Apple Blocker All Puff Daddy, who says, R.I.P. Chuck Norris. My favorite movie is Octagon. It was one of the first movies that featured ninjas. Plus, it gave UFC the ring's name, the Octagon. Oh, okay, didn't know that. Apple also says Joe Kent is a blue Falcon married to a woke Democrat. There you go. Duel says, you seem to prefer wire over wireless headset. I see. Is there a reason why? It's easier to maintain it. I have everything. I have like earbuds. I got earbuds. Like in-ear earbuds, those are uncomfortable. And then if you got an RIP headphone user situation, them earbuds will hurt your eardrum really badly. They're uncomfortable. They fall out. I have some new earbuds that go over my ear, but I've not tried those yet. And they might kind of interfere with my glasses right there. That's always kind of a pain point for me. And right here on my nose is a pain point because of the, you know what I mean? So I try to find something that's comfortable. The corded ones are comfortable and they are easy to maintain. I can just plug them up and I feel like I get good sound and I don't have the issue with latency. So, and if you don't know what that is, anybody that's listening to me, that's whenever I'm watching something on the screen, the sound is instantaneously playing in my headphones. It's not a delay. With Bluetooth, it can fail. You got latency issues and they're just overall more expensive. I can burn through these in 6 months to a year. It's about time for a new pair right now. I'm about to go to Guitar Center and get a new pair right now. So they're about $70, but a pair of Bluetooth ones is pretty good. Like some Audio Technicas or something like that, $200, and you burn through them in 6 months. It's expensive, hard to maintain. The corded ones are just overall better, in my humble opinion. Okay, but thank you to R Black Pro, who says, I'm proud of Elon Musk wanting to pay the airport employees paychecks. Right on. Thank you to Apple Blocker All Puff Daddy, who says, please comment on Bernie Sanders complaining that Elon Musk's wealth is greater than the entire wealth of the bottom 50% of the people. Income group, Bernie, hypocrite. I've not seen that, so I can't really, all I will say is that Bernie, like I said earlier, Bernie is a guy who made his wealth off of saying that rich guys are bad. Okay. The billionaires. And then he became a millionaire. And then there was no more talk about millionaires. It was all about the billionaires. Oh, okay. Because now you got money. You're not worried about the millionaires anymore because you're a millionaire. Funny how that works. Thank you to Liam Mazzino, who says, my favorite Chuck Norris movie is The Delta Force. Right on. Thank you to NJ Prepper, who says, you're awesome, brother. Preach the truth. Thank you for that. Thank you to Ron Henderson, who says, ABL, don't get triggered by these doofuses. Also, Ryan Anderson says Cuba looks like California in 10 years. Hey, that could happen. I hope it doesn't. Thank you to Tim Wesley, who says if she moves to Germany, she won't be able to talk bad about it, country, the way she's talking about the USA. Well, that's that. People take this country for granted and the freedom of speech we have. They don't have that over there. Freedom of speech is not really a thing over there. Okay, thank you to Dan Vicious, who says former slaves become some of the most influential patriotic Americans. Thank you to Taylor Langley, who says, hey, but did you see the liberals going to Cuba spending $600 on a ticket, which is more than the salary of Cubans, then preaching to them about how oppressive the U.S. is? I did see that, of course. All right, let's keep on rocking and rolling. And let's go to 818. You're online. Who am I speaking to? Okay, I guess I didn't answer that quick enough. But the number to call is 706. There we go. 818. You're online. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Dale. I wanted to go ahead and just real quick talk about that lady that you put up from Appalachia and how she was having trouble finding a house. And I wanted to sit there and say that I completely understand her concerns because I'm originally from LA. I grew up there. I was raised there, and I moved out to Texas. And I always hear about people like, don't Californianize my Texas. And I try to tell people and all the time that I get it, because growing up in LA, here's how LA was worse than what you see in Appalachia, Texas, or anywhere else. Because I get it, the housing prices went up, but in LA, it was still affordable in the 90s. It was still affordable at some points. But because of Hollywood and stuff like that, you had a lot of people from not only all over the country, but from all over the world constantly going to California. And I don't know how many times I could tell you right now that I've seen somebody go into California, think they can be the next actor, bright-eyed, thinking they have the best ideas in the world and that's where they can make it, only to see people either go homeless, end up in porn, or the worst part that always made me angry, that why I left Salty there, is the fact that they would go there, they'd stay for probably a betterment of 5 to 10 years, change the laws and decide they can't make it there, and then they leave. They go back home. What made me angry about it is that, they go back to their state, they go back to their country. But for me, for someone like me, there was nowhere else for me to go. And so eventually I left LA and came to Texas. And, the other part that makes it worse in LA, that, there's still things like Appalachia, Texas, and stuff like that is a golden line, is that there isn't, the government isn't restricting to build. One of the things that also made me mad is the government there, and I don't think it's entirely everybody voting, but if you've seen recently, like on Skid Row, where they're paying people on ballot initiatives and stuff like that, because everybody I didn't know people that voted certain ways, but, things kept passing that was crazy. And I'll never forget, I was listening to John and Ken one day, and, the government was blaming capitalism, saying that's the reason why housing was so high, yet they keep, passing laws of like, new housing needs to have solar panels, or, they're not allowing people to actually build. And they keep rezoning things to the point where it's just, really hard to actually, get a house or build. You see what happened in the Palisades, and, people can't even build. 2 years later, they still can't build. I mean, it's over a year, almost, next year will be 2 years. But, it's going to take them 2-3 years to actually get permits. All that red tape, that's also part of people that, went there and voted that stuff. And then they realize they can't make it and go home. I understand that, but hopefully, with the lady in Appalachia and people here in Texas, I hope they understand, like, they don't have those same restrictions. I mean, in Texas, I've seen entire, towns go up like what seems like overnight. It's amazing. At least that kept the housing somewhat stable. I mean, yeah, housing prices are a little high, and I get it. And I agree with you. Having to set back your standards a little bit. I wasn't one of those Californians that had a house because I couldn't afford one. Me and my wife, we got whatever modest house we could afford out in Texas, and there was a fixer-upper and stuff like that. And we're just like, hey, yeah, that's it. We're getting it. We're desperate to get out. So I mean, it's just the policies and everything just went south. But yeah, I wanted to, point that out, that, her concerns are valid. But, hopefully it's not just people from, California, because like I said, California, it was everybody from the entire country and other countries. And, like I said, like I remember 25 years ago, you look at Glendale and stuff like that, it was bought up by all the Chinese. The Chinese bought everything around there. And it's like an alternate Chinatown where they built, there's a problem where they had mini mansions. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say, ABL. Thank you very much. I hope you have a good day.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Great call. Great insight. California, it was one way, then it became another way because people coming out there, buying everything up, making it unaffordable, for sure. I totally get it. Let's look at you online, 857.
Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, I was watching that video that you have that, I think it was a guy and then the lady. They was talking about Social Security, Medicare, the budget for the defense spending, the Defense Department.
Okay, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about.
Well, it was a video that the guy asking like, what is your net worth or something. I guess the guy like, you post those videos, the people that pretty much the person that is interviewing is an idiot, and the person that being asked the question is another idiot.
Oh, you're talking about Kelly? Okay, I know you're talking about. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, Social Security and Medicare, we pay tax into that, separate from the federal taxes. We pay taxes into that. That's one thing. The second thing was talking about the budget from the defense spending. We spend more money in defense spending, not so much because the budget for defense spending is because of the wars. How much you think the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq costed?
I don't know. You tell me.
How much you think it costed?
I don't know. You tell me.
Wars.
I don't know.
$8 trillion.
Say how much?
$8 trillion, according to the Congressional Budget Office.
Okay, now over how many years?
We're 2001, 2003, and until 2025.
Okay, so 25 years.
24, I think 25. Well, things are very that's. See, so remember now, this for the war alone, we got to put money into the defense budget that is almost 800 billion, 600, 700 billion. I think it's getting increasing every year. So the budget for the military is one thing, and the budget for the war is another thing. And do you believe that these wars are make you any safer?
I mean, they could. I'm not quite sure if they do or they don't. That's a good question.
Okay, so if we're spending all this money in all those wars, and the guy was talking about quoting the SNAP program, the SNAP program is a tiny, tiny fraction of what we spend on these wars. Never mind. The budget for the military we need. We need to have a strong military, understand that. But the budget for the war that don't make us any safer. What that guy is talking about?
Okay. So you're asking a lot of questions. I'm gonna go there with just what you're saying. So you're saying that the war does not make us any safer. That's your opinion about the war not making us safer. That's your opinion. Okay. Now, as far as SNAP, is SNAP cut? Did we cut SNAP? Is that what happened?
No, we should not cut SNAP.
No. I said, did we cut SNAP?
Yeah, we did cut SNAP. We removed some of the individuals from SNAP. I mean,
so we removed it completely, or we just trimmed it up a little bit.
Well, we changed some of the modifications on the provision, but actually, this is what I don't understand. This is what it pays me. When it comes to SNAP programs, when it comes to investing more in housing programs, when it comes to this thing, we turn around and say we're going to become communists and socialists, and the war is coming to an end in Cuba, North Korea, because this is the people that are stupid, believe that. But when it comes to spending $200-300 billion in a war that's not going to make us any safer, or the country that we go into a war is not a threat to us only because we want to go to oil and rare minerals and gold and all these things that we want to, that the people on the top only benefits, is no problem. So you agree we should give them the $200 billion right now that the Trump administration is requesting to go to Iraq to continue the war in Iran? Do you think we should continue spending that money? Do you think Congress should give them that money?
I believe so. Yeah.
And then so what is the goal here? What is the goal in Iran?
The goal is to stop the regime, to overthrow the regime.
Stop the regime to overthrow the regime? What did you just say?
You said what now?
You say stop the regime to overthrow the regime? That's what you just said? I didn't get what you just said.
I said that, yes.
Okay, so you want to stop the regime to overthrow the regime?
I mean, okay, I said it. You going to keep repeating it or what? Like, what's your point?
So what regime is going to put in charge to control the country? Which regime is going to be that one?
Well, it'll be the people themselves who can control the country rather than the Islamic regime, which took over in 1979.
I don't want to go into the detail why that regime took over. I don't want to get into that because that's something that you should know, but I don't want to get into that. But the question is, Trump said we don't know which one is going to be in charge because the ones that we pick them, they are not the ones that we like, and they keep the Israeli government keep killing them. That's what he said it on camera. So right now we don't have a person or a group that could be in charge. So what is the goal? I mean, we keep blowing things up, doing this thing that's not going to make us any safer. That could be a situation for more terrorists to sneak in, to take control of the stations where they don't have a person in control. So what is the actual goal? We don't have a guy on charge. We don't have a person that we could say, well, we're going to have this person in charge because Trump said it. We don't have a person in charge. So why are we spending so much money on these wars? We already came from so many mistakes. We came from Iraq. We made a mistake. Nobody's controlling Iraq right now. We went to Afghanistan. We gave it back to the Taliban, the same Taliban that screwed us up in 9/11.
Well, what we should have done from the beginning is go to Iran rather than trying to go to the satellite nations like Iraq, because Iraq was controlled by Iran. So if you're going to go to Iran, if you're going to go to Iraq and try to do something there without going to Iran first, it makes no sense because Iran's still in control of Iraq. So it didn't make any sense. So if you're going to go to Middle East, just go straight to where it's at or don't go at all. And if you don't go at all, then you're waiting on them to make a move, and then it's going to be a nuclear war. And you don't want that. So to prevent that, we got to go in there and do what we're doing right now. Or we could just wait and do nothing and then get hit by the nuke. And that's going to be a whole different story.
You just don't make any sense. You just don't make any sense. They don't have any nukes. They're not interested in building nukes. If they could get it, if they want to nuke right now, they could get it.
Okay, sure. Believe whatever they tell you. They also said that the missiles do not go beyond 2,000 miles, and they do because they hit Diego Garcia. But go ahead.
But listen, if they want to get a nuke right now, they could get it from India, China, Russia.
Okay. Now the problem is the regime. Like I said from the beginning, this is the whole point. It's the Iranian regime. That's the problem. And my thing is, if the regime is not the problem, then why are they also hitting their Islamic neighbors? Why are they hitting Azerbaijan and Turkey and stuff like this? If they're not the problem, it's the regime themselves.
Because they're hitting their targets. They're supporting the U.S., right? The U.S. working with them, right?
Working
with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and all those nations.
Azerbaijan and Turkey?
Yeah. The United States had an agreement.
Okay.
An agreement.
So they hit all their Islamic neighbors. So all the Islamic neighbors, they're all the bad guys, and Iran's the good guy here, right?
That's not what I said.
I'm asking you the question. I'm asking you the question.
No. There's no good or bad guy because
it's not. Oh, okay. All right.
There's no good or bad guy. If somebody comes to your country and invades you, there's no such a thing and if someone from the outside looking, there's no such a thing as good or bad guy. We went there, we started a war. They say because nuclear weapon, we know there's no nuclear weapon.
But look, I mean, for real, we don't have all night. You've been on for 8 minutes already. So we don't have all night. You've been on for a long time. So we can just wrap this up or get to your next point. I can get to the next call.
My point is that all the money is being invested in something that could be invested at home, in housing, in social programs.
You know what? Housing, that's a good point. You bring up housing. One thing we're going to do right now is evict the illegal aliens from the HUD housing and give it to eligible U.S. citizens. That's one thing we could do right there. And with the deportations, a lot of housing freed up because that was an issue. They were over here battling us for housing and resources. And now that many of them are gone, American citizens can get their hands on some of that good old housing. What do you think about that?
You don't make any sense. And illegal aliens don't qualify for housing because you need a social security number, so you don't qualify for housing. But I'm gonna hang out.
All right. Have a good day. Have a good day. Have a good day. Yes, illegal aliens did get housing because there's all kind of loopholes they took advantage of to be able to get to housing. And that's the problem. A lot of things they were doing were halfway legal, halfway illegal. You know, okay, let's say, for example, you have one person who's eligible for the housing, and then they bring in a cousin or uncle or something like that. And before you know it, you get 10 people in the house, 9 of them illegal, and one person might be a visa or something like that. That's the game. And now that has been eliminated, now we have more housing for American citizens, not for illegal aliens or those who should not be here. Very simple. Okay. 803, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Robert from South Carolina. How you doing?
I'm doing well. About yourself?
Doing great. Had a great day today. Went to the gym first thing. Went by a little car show. I know you like to roll around in your Mustang and F-150. Having a great day. Then I got cut off on I-20. And I have to admit, I went back into a little road rage for about 10 seconds. Then I turned it on K-Lo, the Christian channel, and said, I can't be rude because somebody's being rude. There's too many rude people out there in public. I love your Southern gentleman that calls in and does a little preaching. Good guy. But I just think people need to get back to common sense. You know, take care of the business. If you can't afford a house, how about get 2 jobs? You know, my grandfather was similar to your father, you know, working at the fire department and doing a side hustle. So, you know, if you don't want to get an education, get a side hustle. I just, you know, wish everybody could be less rude, learn how to dress if you go out in public, because we don't want to see all that. And I'm not going to, it's a great day in South Carolina because we got the women's basketball in town. We had 3 races at Darlington with NASCAR, and it was a nice day. So I hope you had a great day, and I'll listen to you, and I'll go ahead and hang up.
Well, thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you. All right. Shout out to him. Great call. And shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. It's already past 11 o'clock. That's crazy. Time flying. Time going so fast. Let's go 203. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, what's going on? This is Misfit Steve from Connecticut. Want to, inform Ivan on the United States major spending breakdown, okay? Social Security, $1.5 trillion. That's 22% of our total budget. Health programs, $1.7 trillion. That's 25% of our total budget. What are we up to now? Almost 50%. That includes Medicaid, Medicare, CHIP, ACA, Social Security, obviously, the largest single federal program that provides retirement to disability benefits and to senior citizens over the age of 68. Okay, now let's do national defense. 872 to 884 billion. 13%. Okay, that includes operations and maintenance, military personnel, procurement. I believe that's to buy our aircrafts and weapons and stuff. Research and development, $138 billion. That's 16% of our defense for developing new military technology. Okay, so the net interest on debt is $881 billion, 13% of total budget. Payments made on the national debt, which grew by 34% over the previous year due to higher interest rates. Income security, 370 to 680 billion. That's 10% of the total budget. That includes SNAP, food stamps, which is 100 billion, serving roughly 42 million participants per month. 42 million people in the United States on food stamps. This category also includes unemployment, compensation, federal employee retirement, and other nutrition programs. Nutrition programs for children, free food, okay? Veteran benefits and services, 325 billion. That's 5 to 6% of our total budget. Veterans benefits and services. Let me say that again. 325 billion. That's only 6% of our total budget. Funding for VA hospitals, pensions, and disability compensation for veterans. 6%. That's a shame when we're giving people free money for food to sit on their butt all day, but yet they want child care while they're sitting on their butt. I don't think so. Other categories, educational training and social services, 268 billion. That's only 4%. For student aid and K through 12 programs. Transportation, 137 billion. That's 2%. For highways, transit, and air traffic control. Administration of justice, 70 billion, 1%. For federal law enforcement and courts. So you're telling me that there's only 1% of our federal budget going to the police officers of every state in the United States? I don't think so. That's damn near wrong. Okay? Now, let me tell you, these calculations were for the year of 2024. Okay? So, who's in office in 2024?
Joe Biden.
There you go. Okay? Let's see what happens the next time you have your show. And I'll educate Ivan a little more on our major spending breakdown. Maybe it'll be available for 2025 since we just started 2026 soon. Okay? I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you very much, ABL. Love you, brother. Take care. God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump. I'm out.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Great call. Shout out to the callers tonight. Hey, facts on facts on facts. What can you do? Facts on facts. Hey, it ain't nothing like some facts to get put in the atmosphere right on. So shout out to my man for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. 3 on your line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Ryan from Georgia. How you doing, ABL?
I'm doing well. About yourself?
I'm doing all right. It sounds like that guy must have tried to work for Doge or something like that. you know, my God, he was giving us the whole budget right there. You know, so I was kind of like laughing. They said he gave him the whole budget right there. I know. I listened to something, a quote that Trump had made, I believe somebody in his administration, I think it was him, that made a statement that if we find all the fraud and waste that's in our government, which Doge was supposed to do, it will almost balance out our budget, and that's why they don't want us looking under the hood. It's pathetic, but it's crazy because, like you said, you heard Blasio wife. I lost $1.8 billion. Oops, I don't know where they went. Come on now. How come she's not right now, big rocks to little rocks, right now? She and he, you know what I'm saying? You talking about you missing a net, and yet if you did the same thing on your income tax, they want to throw the book at you, take your house and everything like that, for missing a deduction or something like that that you took. You know, but I said, man, these people are too much. You know how they doing us common folks. You know, but like I said, we're not common. You know, because we got sense. But you know, but like I said, common sense is not common. But like I said, that's why it's a remnant of people that's really helping this country go ahead. But these people are losing their freaking minds today. You know, it's crazy. The same thing about the way they doing the TSA people are not funding them and paying all of the Department of Homeland Security. You know, come on now, all of it need to be funded. You can't. You just need to be funded. We do need ICE. You know, we need all that. We need to pass the SAVE Act. We need to do all of that. This is a game. The fact that we got so many TSA workers that are quitting, they said they got to go on training it's a 6 months training course to get them ready to be put back on the line. All these people are leaving and quitting and everything like that, trying to find a new career. The airport's going to be jacked up for a long time because guess what? You know, you're going to have a rookie with somebody. They're not even out in the field yet. They got to learn how to do the stuff. You know, I think the threat that Trump made and talking about that if we don't get no settlement, that, you know, maybe we need to put ICE in the airports, you know, to go ahead and help along. But they not trained on this and stuff. Well, guess what? I guess you're not going to have a lot of illegals trying to come through the airport, so we might have a reduction in people trying to fly all around. You know, don't want their names coming up in the database and everything like that. Oh, you know what? You overstayed your visa. Yeah, you over to the right. You Americans, keep going to the left right there. Keep going. Okay, keep it going. You know, because these people are crazy. And as far as like giving the House and the Senate and everything like that, hey, let them go ahead and sit in the line for 2-3 hours and everything. They get their mind right. I said I'm dreading the fact that my daughter's going to have to fly out on Monday. She got to go to Hartfield and everything. Oh, my God, her and her son going to be in there for 4 hours. And I'm going to have to get in there for 4 hours and have to just pray for them because, you know, the mother got to do it with a 9-year-old solo. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be brutal. You know, but this is what we got going here today, man. America, we need help. We got the enemy in our midst. Oh, yeah. They're, like I said, they're here and they're there. You know, just like you showed what's going on in with Virginia. Is that with Virginia that you were showing? My God, you know, that's what's going on right there. You know, they're migrating and they're trying to take over. Like I said, they're supposed to assimilate to America, not America assimilate to Somalia or the Sudan or anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? They trying to be Americans, come to America, do like what we do in America. It should be English only in this country. All ballots should be in English. You know, you got just like what they did in Don Corleone days and everything like that. Hey, you know, they coming in the 30s, you know, you have to be assimilated. And once we reach that timeline, the time of assimilation is about 20 years. Okay, now we go open up and let some more people come in and assimilate and everything like that. Become America. Learn about our history. Learn how we do things here. Learn how we cook our barbecue. You know what I'm saying? You know, my God, these people are too much. They don't want to become. They want to come to America, but they don't want to be Americans. No. No, you come to America, you come to be American. You're not coming to America to be where you came from, you know, and that's the thing. That's the thing. That's what we need to hold on to. But it's appalling that our politicians, the people who's supposed to be doing what the people will is, they're not doing what the people will is. They're doing what their will is. And they're doing it all for the guys of power. And, you know, what these people are just relishing the fact that if they ever get back in power, they already said it, Pritzker and everything like that has already said they're coming after all the patriots right now. All the people that are upholding the laws, all the people that's doing everything that they hate, they're going to come at you. They're coming at us. They're coming at us. We're not doing the same thing to them right now that we're in power, but they're going to do the same. They're going to do what they did under Joe Biden. They're going to do it to us, whoever they try to get in. That's why they fight so hard against this SAVE Act. No, we got to get that passed. We got to get ICE at the election booth too to just watch out and make sure they don't be doing no flim flam, getting all the surrogates, and stop it right there. We got to continue to fight for our country, people. Fight for your country because they're fighting to take it from us, and they're not going to get it. We're fighting back. We fight harder. We fight stronger. We fight smarter. We got to continue to do as our president says, fight, 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 fight for America. Our men and women in service, God bless them. God bless them. God bless the effort, to annihilate these people that are over there, to free the Iranians and to free Cuba, to free all the people who long for true freedom. We take our freedom for granted. America, don't take your freedom for granted. Don't take your freedom for granted, because once you lose it, it's hard to get it back. These people want to keep you down and keep you down. No, raise your head up, continue to pray for God's mercy, pray for God's strength, pray for his spirit, and continue to lift up your president and all the people who are standing up for righteousness. God bless you, ABL. God bless everybody in the chat. God bless you, my brother, and you just take care of yourself, okay, buddy?
Right on. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
You too, sir. Bye-bye.
All right. Great call. Shout out to the caller. Unknown caller on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Begin bombing in 5 minutes. ABL, hey, man. What's going on, man?
Not too much, man. What's happening?
Yeah, well, I want to report some good news. Doreen Sigari, a woman who's 41 from Florida, just got arrested, and she's sentenced to prison. Actually, her hearing is coming up on Tuesday, May 5th, for making death threats against Trump supporters.
Well, that's what you get. You do stuff like that, you get held accountable.
Yep. She made these comments back in late August of last year. She got busted back in September, and now, she's facing court trial. So that's great. I love it. TBS is backfiring on her. And as far as the war is concerned, I am concerned about gas prices and everything going up, but I think we have to suffer for the greater good of the cause to defeat the bully of Iran. The Iranian regime of over 47 years has been a thorn in our side for so long. I grew up with this BS. I was 9 years old in early 1979 when the mullahs took over Iran and created the regime, and I'm just tired of it. So I think this is great what we're doing, and it's about time.
Absolutely. I mean, and it was going to come at a certain point. Either we bring it to them now or they bring it to us later. Either way, we couldn't keep ignoring this problem.
Right. It's only going to get worse and worse. And they're up to 60% enriched uranium. So they were going to create a nuclear bomb just in a matter of weeks or months. So, it's about time we did it. And also, I like the fact that Israel, attacked with us. So it lessens our cost of the war in terms of material and soldiers, too. So, man, this is so great. I can't wait. As soon as this is over, it might last 2-3 more weeks. My stocks went down about, I think it was like $35,000, $40,000. They'll go back up again, and gas prices will go back again. And also, a couple of my coworkers the past 10 days have been complaining about the gas prices, but they don't understand what's going on. 20% of the world's oil production goes through the Strait of Hormuz, and the prices of gas is going to go down again. So this BS is over with. So, I can't wait till it's over with, and we destroy the Iranian regime, and the people of Iran are returned to freedom as they should be. And I say make Iran great again and make America great again. I'm Soldier MAGA, and let's go forward with this, man. I support it 110%. Have a great night, man. Take care, and thank you, and be safe.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thanks, man. Take care. Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. And shout out to you guys for rocking and rolling with me. And if you like what you heard tonight, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, I got another call here. Y'all blowing me up tonight, huh? I see. Let's go 208. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Jill.
All righty. What's happening?
Oh, awesome. You know what? I've watched you. I love you. I just had to chime in for just a second. What people forget is these people don't think like we do. They would just as soon kill you as shake your hand. And so it's a fight that's been going on ideologically, spiritually, however, for more than just the last few years. And the hard part about being a good Christian American or even a Jewish whoever is they don't think like you do. And how do you fight that? It's an ideology. And so I'm 100% behind what's going on. And I feel like your last caller just said, if it takes a little bit of pinch in each one of our pockets, I'm down with it. Because I remember sitting on the bus at 8 years old singing Bomb Iran, you know, and my kids just don't get it either, but let's do it.
Right on. I'm with you.
Anyway, I love your show. Thank you.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you. All right. It's on a bus saying Bomb Iran. All right. I think that will be a wrap for me. Shout out to you guys, but it's past my bedtime. I'll see you guys again live on Tuesday on Instagram if you're there. And thank you guys for watching the replay on YouTube. So if you don't know, I go live each and every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on Instagram. And I post that particular live stream on YouTube on Friday night, 8 p.m. for the replay. So shout out to you guys who watched that Instagram replay on the YouTubes. I appreciate y'all. But I'll be back live on YouTube each and every Wednesday and Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern to right around right now, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm here every day putting out pre-recorded content, long form, short form, whatever you want. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you want to find me. I'll most likely be there. And if you want to hear an audio version of this podcast, it'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether they be Google Play, Spotify, Apple iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or visit your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. Okay, I think I got everybody. I got everybody on the super chat. Thank you guys for supporting. I appreciate y'all for that. And that'll pretty much be a wrap for me. And I almost forgot my little outro. Shout out to everybody for watching, retweeting, super chat, and whatever you do. You know I could not do the show without you. Thank you to the mods for keeping the trolls in check. I appreciate y'all for that as well. But that will be a wrap for me. Thank y'all for joining. And until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.